I want to be remembered as a man who started by changing a village and ended up changing the entire world. My name is Pious. You can call me Pious. Midika, aka Zeddy, born and raised from Meru, a very small village called Kaelo. Currently, I'm a senior investment banking analyst in New York City. I work with the International Bank based in New York. Basically, I focus on leverage finance, so helping companies, buy companies using debt. I just finished my master's, Master of Science from Michigan State University, actually sometime early this month. I just launched a book, The Boy Who Believed. So The Boy Who Believed, it's like a testimony of my life. So this is a story of a 7-year-old boy who, after the death of his father, leaves his family because of a disagreement with his stepmother. And he starts life on his own. And all along he never gave up or never stopped believing that there's a day that will come and he'll go to school. The chief actually is the one who made him go to school. And that is where my journey with education started. From class 2, this boy actually realizes that he has a shot in education. The first exam, he becomes position 3 and he's like, okay, so I can do this. The next exam, he becomes position 1. And unfortunately, his education is cut short in class 3 because now grandma has to move from that place to another place where my father used to live. And now I have to transfer to school, mambo ya school uniform and all those things. I remember walking into Kiriana Primary School in Kaelo, and the head teacher is like, no, we can't admit you unless you have a school uniform. Luckily, I was carrying my report form. So I met this teacher and she goes through my report form and she's like, since you go to school, you've been topping in your class. Let me talk to the head teacher and see what we can do. And I was admitted to Kiriana without a school uniform. And later I was able to get a school uniform through a donor. So I finished my exam, KCPE, become the best boy in the district, Igembe North. Now everyone is like, okay, here he is. He, did well, but then what next? And one of the teachers comes and she's like, actually there's a program called The Wings to Fly. We went to Maua branch. We took some application forms. Fortunately, we ended up getting the Wings to Fly scholarship after a round of interviews. And that was the beginning of everything. The name Zeddy came when I was in class 5. Every time during the closing days, I'm there singing. This teacher, music producer, is like, I'll take you to studio. So we need you to come up with a name. Recorded my first song, Mbono Usisome. Actually, I later came to perform it in one of the Wings to Fly congresses. I was like, I think I've been through a lot in my life and I want to become a helper. And I was like, I'll call myself Zeddy. So that every time I remember that I need to grow to one day help someone else. But most importantly, it's a confession so that I get someone to really help me, to pursue what I believe in. And that's how the name Zeddy was born. And the good thing is that Equity had a way of, Wings to Fly making us find a balance. Because I remember Equity used to give us even awards for being in leadership. So I used to love to be a leader. And I became a leader in IKU. Eventually ended up becoming the vice president and being elected the president of the Students' Council. So in the Wings to Fly program, I ended up nurturing my leadership. I remember going to Rwanda as one of the 10 students that were selected student leaders to represent, our country, bringing together all the student leaders from various countries. And the more I did these things, the more I kept believing in myself and that I can go beyond. After high school, I get my A-. And sometime later, I received this letter from Equity that, hey, we have a job for you. So we get this internship. I went to Equity Thika. In the Equity Leaders Program, they have college counseling. I applied actually to be in the college counseling program. Applied to a number of schools and until 17th of March, because I remember that day, it was 5 a.m. I received this email from Michigan State University, MasterCard Foundation. Congratulations, I've received a scholarship to attend Michigan State University for 4 years. I walk the entire plot with the way I was screaming. And that is the moment that turns your life around. I became a mentor for a number of months before leaving. I was actually the head chaperone in my last Congress, the last Wings to Fly Congress in 2017 at Alliance Girls. And now leave Equity Leaders Program and become the Equity Global Scholars. This book is another testimony because at the back here there is actually a comment from Dr. James Mwangi and Dr. Bed Waweru. It's very hard to tell someone they can fly when all they have ever done in their life is walk. And that is why mentors like us come in, because I would not be here if there was no mentor, that was there to tell me it's possible. So many beautiful stories have been born through education. I am a testimony of that. There is leadership, there is things like professionalism, there is the way you speak and carry yourself around. There's a network that you get in these colleges and universities. I want to be remembered as a man who started by changing a village and ended up changing the entire world. Mentorship is an irreplaceable necessity. There's nothing we can replace mentorship with. There is someone waiting for you to dare your dreams so that they can dare theirs. And unless you achieve yours, they will never achieve theirs. Because there's a boy, a girl somewhere today who hears my story and is like, I believe I can achieve anything I envision. Now imagine if we have many of us or inspire many others to do that. So the boy you believed is the first step, but I hope God has a lot in store. And we are going to be changing one village. We start with Kaelo, then one next to Kaelo, the next one, until we change the entire world to believe that there's nothing we cannot do. And this book is available on Amazon. It's available in Kenya through Nuria Store or nuriakenya.com. So you can order and it gets delivered.
I was able to tell myself that I can do it. Hi, my name is Tatiana Boya. I'm a technician. I pursued mechanical engineering, specifically automotive, and currently I'm a technician at Isuzu East Africa. I was brought up in Seya County, Rieda District. I studied within my village in a primary school called St. Lazarus Primary School. I was able to score a mean grade of 360, so came out as among the best in my district. By then, my family was not able to raise a fee for me. We had a number of challenges. My head teacher shared with me about the Wings to Fly scholarship, and my mom was guided to get an application form from the nearest bank, which was Bondo. So after that, we applied. We were shortlisted to appear before the panel for an interview to be undertaken through the program of the Wings to Fly. I got an admission in Loak Girls High School. One thing I have to say that this journey has been amazing. I've gone through mentorship programs that have been there annually, and they're able to help you calculate some values in you as an individual. I was able to re-identify myself, and I realized that within me there was a capacity to lead my fellow students. In Form 1, I was able to take up a role as a class rep, and which I served well. For the remaining 3 years in Loak Girls, I was able to serve as a boarding captain. By the end of 2017, I was able to do my last year, my 4th year. We were called for another congress in Nairobi, and then we were told about courses that are offered in Tibet. So I chose to enroll to Kisumu National Polytechnic, where they gave me full admission and catered for everything. And I went in to pursue automotive engineering. So I joined in September 2018. I was the only lady in my class out of 54. And it would motivate me because I felt if I was not there, then there would be no any other lady there. One of the things that I've learned is giving back to the society. My first year, I was made to be a class representative. I was a voice of many gentlemen in the same class. So I spoke for them, and they were able to get better services. And in my second year, the department felt it was okay for me to represent the entire automotive mechanical department. We were able to come up with various programs of giving back. Behind Kisumu Poly is an institution for people with disability. It's called Joyland. So we were able to assist, and again we were also able to plant trees during Tree Day. We were able to run a program for the women, even during the intakes. I will tell them apart from hospitality, we also have mechanical, and it is a course that can be done. What guides the decisions that I make, it is through this mentorship with equity that I've been able to re-identify myself. I was able to tell myself that I can do it. And one of the people who mentor me a lot is Dr. James Mwangi. What I would wish for is to begin my own garage, and also to create a room to have other people have an opportunity to get somewhere. Final remarks. One, I would start by appreciating the entire fraternity of Equity Bank for this program. It has impacted much in my society and even in my family. Two, I would like to urge the scholars who are still in the program that it can be done. Finally, I would say I'm grateful to God each and every day, and I pray for everyone who holds my hand in this journey. I ask God that He unveils better things for the future.
It has been a journey of faith and pure hard work. My name is Moses Mungai Murugi. I'm a trainee lawyer at Anjawara and Kana Advocates. I joined the firm 6 months ago as a trainee lawyer. I'm still doing my bar school. I'm in bar school in Kenya School of Law. The very unique thing about this firm is that as a trainee, you're able to do a lot of legal work. You're able to do a lot of professional networking at the same time. I went to Meshida Primary School, did my KCPE in 2012. My mom was very sick. She had a heart condition where her heart valves were too weak to control the blood flow in her heart. I remember the day my results came out for KCPE, I just called my head teacher and he was able to give me some bus fare to go to the bank to pick the Wings to Fly forms. I was among the few scholars who filled those forms so fast because I was done with my form the same day. And I remember facing the selection panel. Happy to say, a few weeks later, the Wings to Fly team would come to visit me at home. I was in the quarry. I remember my boss at the quarry telling me, you have to choose, forgo today's wages or go home. Later on, could now prepare for Wings to Fly inauguration in Kasarani. And I remember actually, I went to the Congress with Akara, literally. And then I remember in Kasarani, the president was 10 meters away from me. The president, I mean, from the quarry literally just now next to the president here. And you feel like a cabinet secretary at that time. We had very many speakers coming to speak to us, telling us their journey. And then sooner you discover you're not alone. That this is a journey that many have traveled before you. They have fought, they have not given up. And that is the time it hits you that there's no other option for you than to make it. Joining Form 1 in 2013 in Nyandarua High School, a special school I hold very dear and close to my heart. This would form the last thing I would end up doing with my mom. But I would say my mom, even when she passed on a proud mom because she got involved with her son's education. She's the one who took me for admission into Form 1, became a prefect on day 1. I would end up being a prefect up to the last day of school. One promise I made myself in Kasarani is that I would get my mom treated. Because my mom, 6 years before 2014, she had been diagnosed with a heart condition that was treatable. And I'll tell you, I remember us doing harambes to raise 1.5 million. And I remember us raising 38,000. But for me, that was a reminder of how hard I have to work. But moving forward, I would say, later on, my mom got her surgery on 7th of May, 2014. And the sad bit for me in 2014 is that it's receiving the news from school that my mom had passed on the table of the surgery. It was traumatizing, it was depressing. Moving forward, I would finish my high school sooner in 2016, top the county and join Equity Leaders Program. Now officially start working in the bank. Later join college counseling where we were cancelled on application to schools abroad. And when we joined college counseling, we got to meet scholars like us who had stories like ours, who have gone to Harvard to talk to us, tell us how do we do these applications. And we would get exposed to literally all universities you can think about in the US and Europe and different forms of scholarships. I would later apply to several schools, got several admissions, and I would join University of Nairobi Law School in Parklands in 2018. Equity Group Foundation struck a deal with Strathmore to give 2 scholarships to 2 former Wings to Fly students to do diploma course in Strathmore. And my journey to join Strathmore would start there. I started doing a short course and I applied for a scholarship in Strathmore, and as God would have it, there was one for me to join the law school. And I would work so hard in Strathmore, knowing the dream was bigger. I would graduate with a distinction in the diploma and a first-class degree in law. And that's how I would end up in this magnificent place. In my 4th year, I would end up actually winning an exchange program to Poland in Europe, in University of Gdansk, to finish my law degree. Looking where I've come from, looking at my peers at home, looking at my brother, who remains a big motivation, looking at the people who have held my hand along the way, looking at the number of nights I had to spend working so hard to run away from a background that is not someone's choice, I would just conclude by saying it has been a journey of faith and pure hard work. And I would say those are 2 main things that we should hold dear to keep us moving.
I want to be remembered as a man who started by changing a village and ended up changing the entire world. My name is Pious. You can call me Pious. Midika, aka Zeddy, born and raised from Meru, a very small village called Kaelo. Currently, I'm a senior investment banking analyst in New York City. I work with the International Bank based in New York. Basically, I focus on leverage finance, so helping companies, buy companies using debt. I just finished my Master of Science from Michigan State University, actually, sometime early this month. I just launched a book, The Boy Who Believed. So The Boy Who Believed, it's like a testimony of my life. So this is a story of a 7-year-old boy who, after the death of his father, leaves his family because of a disagreement with his stepmother. And he starts life on his own. And all along, he never gave up or never stopped believing that there's a day that will come and he'll go to school. The chief actually is the one who made him go to school. And that is where my journey with education started. From class 2, this boy actually realizes that he has a shot in education. The first exam, he becomes position 3 and he's like, okay, so I can do this. The next exam, he becomes position 1. And unfortunately, his education is cut short in class 3 because now grandma has to move from that place to another place where my father used to live. And now I have to transfer to school, mambo ya school uniform and all those things. I remember walking into Kiriana Primary School in Kaelo, and the head teacher is like, no, we can't admit you unless you have a school uniform. Luckily, I was carrying my report form. So I met this teacher and she goes through my report form and she's like, since you go to school, you've been topping in your class. Let me talk to the head teacher and see what we can do. And I was admitted to Kiriana without a school uniform. And later I was able to get a school uniform through a donor. So I finished my exam, KCPE, become the best boy in the district, Igembe North. Now everyone is like, okay, here he is. He did well, but then what next? And one of the teachers comes and she's like, actually there's a program called The Wings to Fly. We went to Maua branch. We took some application forms. Fortunately, we ended up getting the Wings to Fly scholarship after a round of interviews. And that was the beginning of everything. The name Zeddy came when I was in class 5. Every time during the closing days, I'm there singing. This teacher, music producer, is like, I'll take you to studio. So we need you to come up with a name. Recorded my first song, Mbono Usisome. Actually, I later came to perform it in one of the Wings to Fly congresses. I was like, I think I've been through a lot in my life and I want to become a helper. And I was like, I'll call myself Zeddy. So that every time I remember that I need to grow to one day help someone else. But most importantly, It's a confession so that I get someone to really help me, to pursue what I believe in. And that's how the name Zeddy was born. The good thing is that Equity had a way of, used to fly making us find a balance. Because I remember Equity used to give us even awards for being in leadership. So I used to love to be a leader. And I became a leader in IKU. Eventually I ended up becoming the vice president and being elected the president of the Students' Council. So in the Wings to Fly program, I ended up nurturing my leadership. I remember going to Rwanda as one of the 10 students that were selected student leaders to represent, our country, bringing together all the student leaders from various countries. And the more I did these things, the more I kept believing in myself and that I can go beyond. After high school, I get my A-, and sometime later I received this letter from Equity that, hey, we have a job for you. So we get this internship. I went to Equity Thika. In the Equity Leaders Program, they have college counseling. I applied actually to be in the college counseling program. Applied to a number of schools, and until 17th of March, because I remember that day, it was 5 a.m. I received this email from Michigan State University, MasterCard Foundation. Congratulations, I've received a scholarship to attend Michigan State University for 4 years. I walk the entire plot with the way I was screaming. And that is the moment that turns your life around. I became a mentor for a number of months before leaving. I was actually the head chaperone in my last Congress, the last Wings to Fly Congress in 2017 at Alliance Girls. And now leave Equity Leaders Program and become the Equity Global Scholars. This book is another testimony because at the back here there is actually a comment from Dr. James Mwangi and Dr. Beth Waweru. It's very hard to tell someone they can fly when all they have ever done in their life is walk. And that is why mentors like us come in, because I would not be here if there was no mentor, that was there to tell me it's possible. So many beautiful stories have been born through education. I am a testimony of that. There is leadership, there is things like professionalism, there is the way you speak and carry yourself around. There's a network that you get in these colleges and universities. I want to be remembered as a man who started by changing a village and ended up changing the entire world. Mentorship is an irreplaceable necessity. There's nothing we can replace mentorship with. There is someone waiting for you to dare your dreams so that they can dare theirs. And unless you achieve yours, they will never achieve theirs. Because there's a boy, a girl somewhere today who hears my story and is like, I believe I can achieve anything I envision. Now imagine if we have many of us or inspire many others to do that. So the boy you believed is the first step, but I hope God has a lot in store and we are going to be changing one village. We start with Kaelo, the one next to Kaelo, the next one, until we change the entire world to believe that there's nothing we cannot do. And this book is available on Amazon. It's available in Kenya through Nuria store or nuriakenya.com. So you can order and it gets delivered.
I was able to tell myself that I can do it. Hi, my name is Tatiana. I'm a technician. I pursued mechanical engineering, specifically automotive, and currently I'm a technician at Isuzu East Africa. I was brought up in Seya County, Rarieda District. I studied within my village in a primary school called St. Lazarus Primary School. I was able to score a mean grade of 360, so came out as among the best in my district. By then, my family was not able to raise a fee for me. We had a number of challenges. My head teacher shared with me about the Wings to Fly scholarship, and my mom was guided to get an application form from the nearest bank, which was Bondo. So after that, we applied. We were shortlisted to appear before the panel for an interview to be undertaken through the program of the Wings to Fly. I got an admission in Loak Girls High School. One thing I have to say that this journey has been amazing. I've gone through mentorship programs that have been there annually, and they're able to help you calculate some values in you as an individual. I was able to re-identify myself, and I realized that within me there was a capacity to lead my fellow students. in Form 1. So I was able to take up a role as a class rep, and which I served well. For the remaining 3 years in Lower Girls, I was able to serve as a boarding captain. By the end of 2017, I was able to do my last year, my 4th year. We were called for another congress in Nairobi, and then we were told about courses that are offered in Tibet. So I chose to enroll to Kisumu National Polytechnic, where they gave me full admission, catered for everything, and I went in to pursue automotive engineering. So I joined in September 2018. I was the only lady in my class out of 54. And it would motivate me because I felt if I was not there, then there would be no any other lady there. One of the things that I've learned is giving back to the society. My first year, I was made to be a class representative. I was a voice of many gentlemen in the same class. So I spoke for them, and they were able to get better services. And in my second year, the department felt it was okay for me to represent the entire automotive mechanical department. We were able to come up with various programs of giving back. Behind Kisumu Poly is an institution for people with disability. It's called Joyland. So we were able to assist, and again we were also able to plant trees during Tree Day. We were able to run a program for the women, even during the intakes. I will tell them, apart from hospitality, we also have mechanical, and it is a course that can be done. What guides the decisions that I make? It is through this mentorship with equity that I've been able to re-identify myself. I was able to tell myself that I can do it. And one of the people who mentor me a lot is Dr. James Mwangi. What I would wish for is to begin my own garage, and also to create a room to have other people have an opportunity to get somewhere. Final remarks. One, I would start by appreciating the entire fraternity of Equity Bank for this program. It has impacted much in my society and even in my family. Two, I would like to urge the scholars who are still in the program that it can be done. Finally, I would say I'm grateful to God each and every day, and I pray for everyone who holds my hand in this journey. I ask God that He unveils better things for the future.
It has been a journey of faith and pure hard work. My name is Mwangi. I'm a trainee lawyer at Anjawara and Kana Advocates. I joined the firm 6 months ago as a trainee lawyer. I'm still doing my bar school. I'm in bar school in Kenya School of Law. The very unique thing about this firm is that as a trainee, you're able to do a lot of legal work. You're able to do a lot of professional networking at the same time. I went to Meshida Primary School, did my KCPE in 2012. My mom was very sick. She had a heart condition where her heart valves were too weak to control the blood flow in her heart. I remember the day my results came out for KCPE, I just called my head teacher and he was able to give me some bus fare to go to the bank to pick the Wings to Fly forms. I was among the few scholars who filled those forms so fast because I was done with my form the same day. And I remember facing the selection panel. Happy to say, a few weeks later, the Wings to Fly team would come to visit me at home. I was in the quarry. I remember my boss at the quarry telling me, you have to choose, forgo today's wages or go home. Later on, we would now prepare for Wings to Fly inauguration in Kasarani. And I remember actually I went to the Congress with Akara, literally. And then I remember in Kasarani, the president was 10 meters away from me. The president, I mean, from the quarry literally just now next to the president here. And you feel like a cabinet secretary at that time. We had very many speakers coming to speak to us, telling us their journey. And then sooner you discover you're not alone. That this is a journey that many have traveled before you. They have fought, they have not given up. And that is the time it hits you that there's no other option for you than to make it. Joining Form 1 in 2013 in Nyandarua High School, a special school I hold very dear and close to my heart. This would form the last thing I would end up doing with my mom. But I would say my mom even when she passed on a proud mom, because she got involved with her son's education. She's the one who took me for admission into Form 1, became a prefect on day 1. I ended up being a prefect up to the last day of school. One promise I made myself in Kasarani is that I would get my mom treated. Because my mom, 6 years before 2014, she had been diagnosed with a heart condition that was treatable. And I'll tell you, I remember us doing harambes to raise 1.5 million, and I remember us raising 38,000. But for me, that was a reminder of how hard I have to work. But moving forward, I would say, later on, my mom got her surgery on 7th of May, 2014. And the sad bit for me in 2014 is that it's receiving the news from school that my mom had passed on the table of the surgery. It was traumatizing, it was depressing. Moving forward, I would finish my high school sooner in 2016, top the county and join Equity Readers program. Now officially start working in the bank. Later join college counseling, where we were cancelled on application to schools abroad. And when we joined college counseling, we got to meet scholars like us who had stories like ours, who have gone to Harvard to talk to us, tell us how do we do these applications. And we would get exposed to literally all universities you can think about in the US and Europe, and different forms of scholarships. I would later apply to several schools, got several admissions, and I would join University of Nairobi Law School in Parklands in 2018. Equity Group Foundation struck a deal with Strathmore to give 2 scholarships to 2 former Wings to Fry students to do diploma course in Strathmore. And my journey to join Strathmore would start there. I started doing a short course, and I applied for a scholarship in Strathmore, and as God would have it, there was one for me to join the law school. And I would work so hard in Strathmore, knowing the dream was bigger. I would graduate with a distinction in the diploma and a first-class degree in law. And that's how I would end up in this magnificent place. In my 4th year, I would end up actually winning an exchange program to Poland in Europe, in University of Gdansk, to finish my law degree. Looking where I've come from, looking at my peers at home, looking at my brother, who remains a big motivation, looking at the people who have held my hand along the way, looking at the number of nights I had to spend working so hard to run away from a background that is not someone's choice, I would just conclude by saying it has been a journey of faith and pure hard work. And I would say those are 2 main things that we should hold dear to keep us moving.
I want to be remembered as a man who started by changing a village and ended up changing the entire world. My name is Pious. You can call me Pious. Midika, aka Msaidizi, born and raised from Meru, a very small village called Kaelo. Currently, I'm a senior investment banking analyst in New York City. I work with the International Bank based in New York. Basically, I focus on leverage finance, so helping companies, buy companies using debt. I just finished my Master of Science from Michigan State University, actually, sometime early this month. I just launched a book, The Boy Who Believed. So The Boy Who Believed, it's like a testimony of my life. So this is a story of a 7-year-old boy who, after the death of his father, leaves his family because of a disagreement with his stepmother, and he starts life on his own. And all along, he never gave up or never stopped believing that there's a day that will come and he'll go to school. The chief actually is the one who made him go to school, and that is where my journey with education started. From class 2, this boy actually realizes that he has a shot in education. The first exam, he becomes position 3, and he's like, okay, so I can do this. The next exam, he becomes position 1. And unfortunately, his education is cut short in class 3 because now grandma has to move from that place to another place where my father used to live. And now I have to transfer to school, mambo ya school uniform and all those things. I remember walking into Kiriana Primary School in Kaelo, and the head teacher is like, no, we can't admit you unless you have a school uniform luckily I was carrying my report form. So I met this teacher and she goes through my report form and she's like, since you go to school, you've been topping in your class. Let me talk to the head teacher and see what we can do. And I was admitted to Kiriana without a school uniform. And later I was able to get a school uniform through a donor. So I finished my exam, KCPE, become
Bishop Charles Kariuki to open for us the word of prayer. Bishop.
Thank you, Alex. Shall we pray? Our dear loving Father, we want to thank you this morning as we gather together in this place. We want to thank you so dearly for your love and your grace upon our lives. We do acknowledge this morning that we are not alive because of our efforts, but we are so because of your grace and your mercy. You bless us with blessings that are beyond what we deserve, and this is why we want to thank you for that grace. As we gather together this morning for this function, how we pray that your blessings be together with us. You are a gracious God. You always have more for us, even more than what we can pray or imagine. So how I pray that in this meeting, may you bless this program and bless all of us, including those who have come as the beneficiaries of the Equity Leaders Program. As we celebrate the commissioning of their airlift, how I pray that your blessings be with us, and your good hand that favors and goes ahead of us be upon all of us, including the scholars. We commit this meeting unto your able hands, looking up unto you for the blessings from beginning right to the end. For this is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Let's appreciate Bishop. Allow me, for those who are following us live, and for those who will be tweeting, probably you can also take this opportunity to, we'll be live on our Facebook page. We'll also be live on our website. So you can follow and you can let your colleagues or your former colleagues in where you are to know about this commissioning. And you can also use the hashtags that are on the screen to tweet and post. You can take a selfie if you don't mind, and go online and post under the hashtag Equity Airlift 2023 and Equity Leaders Program. You are looking at me instead of taking a selfie. Kindly take a selfie, post on your groups and say that you are part of the scholars who are being commissioned today. And as you do that, allow me to invite Dr. Beth to walk us through the program. Let's appreciate Dr. Beth as she comes. Dr. Beth is our group director in charge of human capital strategy. Dr. Beth, karibu.
Thank you, Alex. Good morning. Excellent. Thank you, scholars, for being our guests today and for making it early and on time. We are here to celebrate you. For me, beyond the role that I have at the group of HR, I am privileged to team lead our education programs, and more importantly, a program like this that allowed me to be part of this group. So today we are celebrating scholars who have come through the program and who have applied themselves. Dr. Mwangi, maybe we can mention, these scholars are the ones who did KCSE in April 2022. So they actually did it under a COVID environment, a really constrained environment, and they were able to succeed. We had programs in Kenya, Rwanda, DRC, and Uganda. And over the 2 months between July and June last year, They worked with about 42 mentors and 13 study group leaders to work on their applications and to be able to succeed to get their scholarships. Beyond that, we've prepared them. They have gone through a 1-week transition camp to prepare them to go abroad. And I'd wanted to have a few of them just make remarks on behalf of the others, just very brief remarks, scholars, and starting with the lead mentor. If you can join us here, Robert Otieno, who's currently a student at Caltech University in the USA.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, so my journey with Equity Leaders Program probably started with a cold rejection after class 8. I was denied a scholarship, but which was well deserved because after seeing my dad's pay slips, I said, okay, my dad can finance education to Kapsabet Boys High School, but if I got that particular opportunity, then what would have happened was that another deserving applicant would have failed to get that particular scholarship. For example, in our class, we had a West Pokot nomad called Alex Lobilale. He was a gold miner in West Pokot. But thanks to Equity Leaders Program and the Wings to Fly scholarship, he managed to finance his education through high school towards all the 4 years. He has gone undercover, but I hope that wherever he is particularly proud. After that, after finishing my Form 4 studies, what happened was that ECC sent applications to apply for the ELP program 2021. But if you remember very well, that was during the COVID era. So on getting that particular acceptance into ELP/ECC, I was particularly overjoyed because I thought that it was working at the branch and I was going to be earning some cash. Sadly, that was not the reality. And what was happening is that they were introducing us to a virtual program, ELP/ECC, which would guide us with skills that will serve us very well in the oncoming years, in our careers especially, plus also teach us the means of navigations to colleges abroad. I applied during 2021 group, the 2021's group. I got rejections, was waitlisted by a couple of schools, but that particular process of the years that had been put into work, the 1.5 years, made me reapply again. And it is with that I got admission into California Institute of Technology, where I intend to pursue computer science / mathematics. And aside from that, it was also participation in other EGF-related events that also really made me particularly happy to be part of this particular family. For example, when I was called to participate in the call center, which was calling these year's scholars to come work at the branch, there was a parent that was particularly happy that his son was going to be working at the bank, that he offered to go drink alcohol with me somewhere. Yeah, I am still to take up that offer. Yeah, but initially, in participating in the call center, what I thought was that, okay, these guys are going to earn money, so like, oh my God, they have made it, in short. And looking at other parents that were arriving in Sportsview Hotel during that particular period, what was happening is that I could see the level of impact that this particular program, this particular group has on families, societies, and communities. There was a parent that came only with these sandals we have in our mother tongue, we call akala. They're made of tire rubbers, or worn-out tire rubbers of cars, and the feet were dusty. And we had to take them through what EGF is all about, what ELP is all about, what ECC will be all about. And we told them, if you can, when you can, go back home, pack some things for your son, and come back with them here faster, because this is a life-changing opportunity. And also at Sports, it was a particular opportunity to lead a group of talented young scholars. For example, my group was the #1 group in Equity Culture Day. I have a testimonial. Lulu Onyango, can you please stand and wave to the crowd? Yeah. So Lulu was my scholar. I made them sing Benki Yangu, Benki Yetu all night long till midnight so that they could become #1. And also a particular opportunity to bond with guys that I already was familiar with in high school. Victor Mutinda was also my mentee in Debaters Club. Victor Mutinda, stand and wave to the crowd. For your information, he was the third best debater, Great Debaters Contest, Rift Valley Region 2018. We also have Ian Sawe. Ian Sawe, wave to the crowd. Yeah, this is one of the best wingers I've seen in football. If you are playing football with Ian Sawe, just open your legs. Because even if you lock them airtight, he will still find a way to open them and give you nutmegs one way or another. And aside from these also particular skills or experiences was inheriting a family of change. I have interacted with so much people here. I believe Beverly says that she has never seen me in suits. Beverly can be proud today I'm in a suit. Yeah, or like Kevin Lubembe teaching me how to fold and clench ugali very well. We have Ezekiel Macharia, who have been interacting with in skills in Google Datasheet / Excel. Harriet, Emily, Hannah Kimani, Mato. Yeah, so it's been a particular experience that I've been fond of, but also the opportunity to lead during these years ECC lead mentor, as a lead mentor in this year's ECC cycle. We are reporting positive results already. 2 scholars from Rwanda have already gained admission to global scholarships in Turkey. And we are hoping that this number, we have 98 today, but I'm hoping that the number can increase this time to about 120. Plus also to tap those uncharted territories like Uganda, DRC, and Rwanda. And to my fellow incoming global scholars, imagine a situation where Dr. James, Dr. Kirubi, Dr. Beth, Beverly, Kevin, all these guys under ELP/EGF gave up on us. What is happening is that much of the potential that we have now, what we are today, would not have been realized. And also, one key thing that I'd like to note is that my wallet would have been yawning with emptiness. At least thanks to EGF, I think my wallet is really, really fluid. And in that same regard, the way they've not given up on you, what's happening is that as you seek those particular global opportunities, do not forget those particular communities, people, societies, and geographies that you represent. Strive to be agents of change as this particular family is. And one way or another, if the next task in the next 4 years proves daunting, remember the words of Alfred Lord Tennyson and William Ernest Henley in Invictus. Can I recite the poems for you? Do you allow me quickly? Okay. Out of the night that covers us, dark as pit from pole to pole, we thank the God that he is for our unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, you have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, your head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find you unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate or how charged with punishments the scroll. You are the masters of your fate and the captains over your soul. And though as of today you are not of the Samsonic strength or of Solomonic knowledge and wisdom or of the humility of Jesus, that which you are, one equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but stronger in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Thank you all. I've been your lead mentor, Otieno Robert, and I look forward to a positive experience.
Wow, let's appreciate Robert one more time. Thank you, Robert. And I trust the others will also share a little bit about their story. We have John Dolo, proceeding to University of Toronto, who was their study group leader. So just 3 minutes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, our esteemed CEO, Dr. James Mwangi, distinguished scholars, alumni, and our staffs. Good morning once again. I stand before you a proud member of this family. My name is John Dolo, coming from Kangundo constituency, Machakos County. I've been part of this journey from 2011 when I joined the Wings to Fly Scholar and ended up joining Kangundo Boys, which is also in Machakos County. Finished my graduation in 2014, joined the ELP program in 2015, but just a brief story on how my journey being an ELP member began. In 2014, December 15th, I remember very well, 30 of us were given an opportunity by Dr. James Mwangi to be the pre-ELP beneficiaries, and I think we were among the first colleagues who joined the program. And I remember on Tuesday, 16th, James Mwangi was supposed to address us, but the way we were dressed, we were not looking like bankers, and he insisted our back then chaperones, they must ensure we were dressed like bankers before he addressed us. And I can proudly say that was my first opportunity to be dressed in a suit back in 2014. As well, it was my first time to be in Nairobi. And it's a day I can remember very well, which began my transformational journey. In 2015, I had a chance to work in the bank for like 9 months, which gave me an opportunity to amass enough money to join my undergrad. Unlikely, I did not join global program like you guys. Now you are joining the undergrad in the United States and the likes. But I did study locally, but the 9 months gave me an opportunity to accumulate enough to pay for my school fees for 2 good years. I paid in lump sum in Jomo Kenyatta University. In Jomo Kenyatta, I did pursue actuarial science and graduated in 2019. And I got a chance again to be back in the bank, where I joined the shared services department. And it was a privilege serving some of the biggest, busiest, and the bulkiest accounts of the bank, including the Easy Cash, the Easy Pay. I was proud everyone was emailing me to help them out, especially when we had some issues with such transaction. And that actually gave me a very good background in the financial industry, equipping me with good skills, and also giving me a chance to exercise and practice what I had learned in school. In 2020, that is, again, the thirst for knowledge, during the COVID-19, an opportunity availed itself, and I had an opportunity to pursue my first master's, where I joined the African Institute of Mathematical Science to pursue my first master's in applied mathematics. I went to Ghana and became an affiliate of the University of Ghana, finished my program in 2021, and again came back, and again Equity gave me an opportunity joining the Equity Group Foundation, which was an opportunity to serve the body which gives me wings to fly. I served in 6 months, and now I saw, based on my domain knowledge, I felt there was a gap I needed to bridge, and based on the revolution in data and technology, I again took an opportunity offered by Facebook and Google to pursue a 12-month program in data and machine intelligence called African Masters in Machine Intelligence in Senegal, again in African Institute of Mathematical Sciences. And within the same year, I was again lucky to get another master's program, which became my second master's program, again bridging my actuarial background, and that was in University of Toronto, where I joined to pursue my master's in financial insurance. It has been a journey, 2022, pursuing a diploma and master's program, which I can proudly say by the end of this month, I'll be finishing my program. And it has been a transformative journey by the wings I've been given by Equity Group Foundation, as well as MasterCard Foundation. Today, as I stand here, I can proudly say currently I'm an intern at Roche, serving in capacity of market data and insights lead as an intern for the last 6 months. And I look forward to the transformational journey and what the future holds. As I stand today here again, I speak in the capacity of the study group leader, being among the 13 group leaders whom we have been working with most of you in the last year, and also currently working in the current group. I can proudly say congratulations to most of you, and I can say you have a bright future. And again, as I stand, I peer into the future with a sense of fulfillment and indeed an excitement, for I am now closer than ever to becoming the financial inclusion and technology expert I have always dreamt of being. My vision is to ignite change and empower Africa with transformative solutions. Currently, as I said earlier, I'm taking an internship at Roche, where proudly I am part of the marketing and data insights lead, and seeing the transformation of health sector also here in Africa. And that gives you a sense in the course and the capacity you are going to take. There is a lot of problems to solve, and there's a lot of challenges we have here in Africa, and you have all the power to go out there and transform the world. Thank you very much, and once again, thank you to the Equity Group Foundation family.
Okay, let's appreciate John again. So because of the reach of the program and having to run the program in several countries, as well as having to run it virtually, we had to get very senior mentors, who we call study group leaders, who can now work with their teams and be able to do the mentorship properly. Now, we'll hear briefly from the students who are transitioning, the new among the 98. I'll invite Zeddy Kipyegon, who's proceeding to New York University in Abu Dhabi, and she was also a Wings to Fly alumni. So Zeddy, if you could share with us your story. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good morning all. I'm Zeddy Kipyegon, incoming freshman at NYU Abu Dhabi. Yeah, and I'm happy. Okay, so my journey as a part of Equity family started back in 2018 when I joined Wings to Fly program. Yeah, I studied in a very local primary school just in our village by the name of Arus Primary. Yeah, it's in Nakuru, somewhere in Solai, if you know Nakuru. Yeah, I managed to score 399 marks, that is out of 500. And okay, I didn't know about this program. My teachers, I think, yeah, they went pick the forms for me. I just filled them. In fact, my deputy head teacher is the one who brought me for the interviews. After that, they came for their own visits. I remember our branch manager, actually, okay, our home is in a very hilly area, you know, and so he found it that hard, but they finally made it. Okay, then under the hands of Wings to Fly, I joined Kipsigis Girls. It's in Kerisho. Yeah, yeah, I have a schoolmate back there, Brenda. Yeah, So my life in high school was very, smooth. Actually, due to everything that Wings to Fly program provided, from paying school fees, shopping hamper, fare back to and fro twice per term, yeah, during midterms and end terms. Yeah, to the point that we used to have the mentors who will come to school, encourage us, and we used to feel so good. Yeah. So through that, I finally did my KCSE last year. I did it in April and managed to score an A stand of 83 points. Yeah, I joined the ELP program. Then through ELP, of course, there's this Equity College Counseling program. We're given some mentors, and I think I'm so happy. Yeah. Through being an Equity scholar, I've been transformed so much. Because I remember back in 2018, I think it was January 4th, when we were in KU, and Dr. James Mwangi was talking to us. And there's this point it really made sense to me. Like, he was telling us that between us, Wings to Fly scholars, and the rest of the students, of course, maybe those from well-off families, there's no difference. The only difference is that their parents have money, but actually, I and them, we are just the same. I mean, it's just their parents who have money, but for them, we are just at the same level, Yeah, so, and again, I remember telling us that being a Wings to Fly scholar, you are not allowed to score something less than a B+. And, okay, he told us that this might forfeit to your scholarship. And I remember I took this so serious because I couldn't imagine losing my scholarship. I don't know how could even my life could have been. But through God's grace, I managed. Like, I never took anything to my branch champion less than B+, and he was always happy. In fact, this idea of, applying to global schools started from my branch champion, because whenever I took my grades, my report form, it'd be like, Zeddy, you shouldn't even be thinking of studying in Kenya, And it used to seem like, just a talk. It wasn't eating me that much. But even during the congresses we used to be attending back in KU, during that time, we used to, these recorded messages from the global scholars. And I remember there used to be, the screens during break times, and I even miss those break times just to watch them, and they are so inspiring. Yeah, I think being a equity scholar has really, really transformed me, and I'm so, so proud and happy when I go back. Usually when I go back to my, like after getting admission to NYU, I went back to my primary school, and I could see the way, my younger schoolmates, I may say, the way they were so inspired and feeling like they can also make it, Yeah, and I'm so, so happy. Thank you.
All right. Zeddy is still soaking it in. Let's appreciate her one more time. And I like that she has mentioned the role of teachers and the role of champions. Tatiana, joining Princeton University. Come and share your story.
Hi everyone, good morning. So my name is Tatiana, and I am a very, very, very ambitious person. Yeah, like extremely. And that's just a polite way of saying I am a dreamer, which is true. So I guess I'll start with 2017. So Beverly likes to say that I am a noisemaker, but I wasn't always like this. Like I didn't used to talk so much. It just happened, it's necessary. So in 2017, I did my KCPE. I scored 441 out of 500 marks. And that was not even my target. Like my target was 450 Kenya 1. But that's besides the point. So 441. Then, because of that, we had a new governor because it was an election year. And my governor, like my former governor for Bungoma County, Wycliffe Wangamati, he decided to start scholarship for students who had finished KCPE in my county. So he started a scholarship foundation for us who had finished KCPE and were going on to national schools, but for some reason or the other, that would be too expensive for like our parents. So he started that scholarship. And I went to the best high school in the world, Pangani Girls, and just to prove that it is indeed the best high school in the world, I have 3 of my schoolmates here. Please stand, ladies. Helenia, Lorene, yeah, lovely, yeah, the best high school in the world, of course, yes. Yeah, so I went to Pangani Girls High School, and I carried my dreams to the school. As I mentioned, I'm a very ambitious person. So with these dreams, and the fact that I had grown up being an introvert, the noisemaking became necessary. So my mom would tell me, because you have now been noticed. Like, you're spending time, a lot of time with your governor, you're going to events, you need to talk. So the talking is a strategy. And this talking is a very nice strategy because of this talking and my ambition, I got to meet Dr. James Mwangi in Form 4, 2021. So this is what happened. He agreed to grace an occasion hosted by my county governor, Wycliffe Wangamati, in 2021, a scholarship event. We usually have events like before you go to school. So he was the guest of honor at that event. And I don't remember a lot from that event, but I will tell you what I remember. So first of all, I remember I did not prepare for the speech because I never prepare. I speak spontaneously, which is why I'm a noisemaker. So I did not prepare for the speech, and I actually didn't know I was going to speak because I was called at 3 a.m. and told that I'm going to be a speaker at an event where the very honorable James Mwangi, James Mwangi, oh my gosh, is going to be speaking. And yeah, I was just told, find something nice. You have to give a good show of your county and of the people in your county. So I remember not preparing for the speech, just going. And I remember it was important because everybody kept telling me it was important. And I also remember that at the event, we gave Dr. James Mwangi a new name. I don't know if he remembers. We gave him the name Wekesa. And then, yeah, I think I honestly, I'm sorry, I don't know what it means, but it's something nice. I remember it's something nice. Then one last thing that I remember from that event is that after I had spoken, James Mwangi was speaking last, so when he spoke, he told us that for us scholarship students in Bungoma County, if we managed to get an A in our KCSE exams, which are upcoming, because I was going back to start my Form 4 year, I think. So he told us if you managed to get an A in your KCSE, you would end up working as an intern at Equity, and you would have a chance to apply to a global university. Now, back to being a very ambitious young lady. So from the time I was 9 years old, I had like a plan of my life, and I knew that my plan of life does not read Kenyan university anywhere, no, I have to go abroad. So when he said that, I mean, I was interested, of course. So the only thing that I need to do is get an A, of course. And my target was what? A of 84 Kenya 1. Okay, so I was thinking, this is possible. This is what I'm going to do. So I mean, I had a plan of going to study abroad, but I didn't know how. But I guess that was like the starting point. So there is a way. I just need to do what I do best, go to school, study, get that A, and there is a way. And that's what I remember from that event. I remember James Mwangi saying, there is a way. Like, you can go abroad. And so my dreams took me to ELP, where I met all of you dreamers. Yeah, I just called you dreamers. We can argue about the semantics later. You're all dreamers. Yeah, so I met all of you dreamers, and together we fashioned our dreams. We joined ECC. We took a lot of sessions. We went to a lot of sessions, preparing to apply, learning all the things we need to do, doing SAT practice, and by the way, I took the SAT. Yeah, I took the SAT. Again, a very ambitious young lady, and my target was 1600, but I got 1520. And we weaved our dreams together. We finally applied to school, and here we are today because we got admission to global universities. And again, I'm going to the best university in the world, Princeton University. Helenia, please stand. Please stand. Again, back to the point of having the best high school in the world. Again, the best high school in the world is sending two beautiful ladies to the best university in the world. Can you imagine? And after getting my decision on December 15th last year, I applied to a research program, Pioneer Academics. It's an international online research program for high school students. So for me, I was taking it in my gap year. And it was important for me to take research because, again, back to the point of being very ambitious, Princeton is a research-heavy school, and I am not going to let any Chinese, Indian, American people beat me in class because I don't know. So they've taken research in high school. I haven't. So one thing to do is to prepare. So I took Pioneer Academics, and at the end of 6 months, my paper was due June 30th. I submitted a 34-page research paper. Yeah, lovely. It was hard. Oh my gosh, it was hard. I will not lie, it was really hard. But I'm grateful, I have the experience, and I am currently taking online classes in Princeton. And one thing that is shocking me to date, though it happened 2 weeks ago, is that I can get a 95.5 on an assignment and still get A-. I'm still trying to understand that. Yeah, but all of that is besides the point. To conclude, I'd just like to repeat what Dr. James Mwangi told us in 2021. There is a way, there is always a way. Please dream big dreams. There's no problem with dreaming, and do your best to achieve them. And just, I don't know, your dreams have brought you here. So let your dreams take you far. And I'd like to quote a line from a song that I like, For King and Country. So I listen to music a lot, and it's usually just sad songs, but they have nice lines. So one of the lines is, so it's For King and Country. I don't remember what the song is called, but the line is, to the dreamers, wide-eyed believers, hanging on to hope by a thread, to the soulful, heart-open, hopeful, keep on charging ahead. So it might not always look easy, it might not always look bright, you might not always know, you might not always have a way. In primary school, my goal was to become the best, not because I had any idea of like where I wanted to go to high school, or even knew there was a way. Same thing with high school. My goal was to go to a university abroad, not because I didn't even know it was, like I didn't know how to do it, but that was the goal. So even when there's no way and like you don't have anything to give you hope, find the hope in yourself. Tap onto those dreams, onto those big dreams, those ambitions, and never lose sight of the fact that you're a dreamer and that you have hope and that you can do big things because it is possible as long as you believe it. Yes, thank you.
All right, let's appreciate the dreamer once more. Thank you. So now we have two gentlemen who have their remarks. Just briefly, Jock Magok, and you'll tell us where you're from. He's also a Wings to Fly alumni, who'll also be joining the University of Toronto in Canada. Let's appreciate Jock.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jock Magokuch. I come from Kakuma refugee camp, and I'll be joining University of Toronto, as you've heard. I'll be testifying on how Equity Group Foundation is transforming Africa through quality education and transformative leadership. But before I do that, maybe I want to show all of you that it's really happening in Africa. So I'm not here alone. I have some of my friends who are also from the refugee camp. We have Mohammed here from Dadaab, and then we have Majambere and Magot from Kakuma refugee camp as well. You can stand and wave to them. Thank you. So as you all can see, it's not happening in Kenya only, it's Africa. And just to highlight on my background maybe, originally I'm from South Sudan. I was born in a small town called Yei Town in South Sudan, and I found myself in Kakuma refugee camp in 2010. That's where I've been until date. My journey with Equity began shortly after we finished Class 8, KCP 2017. I'm one of the people who did not know about Wings to Fly scholarship program. So I had only one target after my Class 8, that is a Window Trust scholarship. Window Trust Kenya normally offers a scholarship to high school students in Kakuma refugee camp. So that was my only target. And then I had plan B in case that one backfired. So I wanted to join a local secondary school in the camp called Kakuma Refugee Secondary School, and then start a border business as a side hustle. I don't know why, but for some reasons that plan B sounded so exciting. So I started teaching myself how to ride a motorbike within that period before we went to high school. But one day in a random chat with my friend called Grace, she's currently in Toronto, by the way, but I'm not going there because of her. So we were chatting and she asked whether I applied for Wings to Fly, and I was surprised. I asked her, what's that? She said it is a scholarship offered by Equity Bank. So I said, okay, maybe I can give it a try. So I went to the bank that day, pick a form, tried filling it, but it was a bit difficult. I was lacking a few information. So I said, maybe plan B is calling. I dropped the form and then I went on with my life. But somehow I think she was God sent. So she came back 3 days to the deadline and asked whether I submitted the form. I told her it's difficult to fill. She said, no, you have to try. Just fill in what you know and then submit the form. So we did that, submitted the form that same day. And yeah, a few days later we were called for the interview. We did the interview, and out of 58 students who went for the interview, 8 of us got the scholarship that year. And I would say that was the beginning of my transformation journey, because shortly when we attended the induction that we did in KU, that's when I started seeing beyond border business. All of a sudden, after the inspiration, after everybody spoke and the success stories, and especially about working in the bank, so all of a sudden I wanted to go to a good school, get a good grade, and work in a bank. No more border. So yeah, I went to the mighty Meru School. Most of you should know about it. It's one of the best schools in Kenya. I went to the mighty Meru School. In high school, I would say life was very smooth for me. Everything was catered for. And most excitingly, the mentorship program really helped me. My mentor, Rafael Mutoma from Meru Makutano branch, a very nice gentleman. He guided me all through. And I would say my grade is largely attributed to the way that he assisted me. So I finished high school with an A plane. So you can guess where I ended. Thank you. And then, yeah, I had the opportunity to transit to Equity Leaders Program, another amazing opportunity to grow. I would say for the 12th month I've been in the bank, I have not been the same again. So started when we were at Kasarani, of course, and the idea of the ECC, when it was brought up, it was exciting. So again, I had a new goal, not just working in a bank. I wanted to attend global institutions. So we joined ECC, and the program was really helpful. Personally, I did not know how to write. I did not even know what a personal statement is. But through the ECC and the so many guidance they gave us, I was able to succeed in my college application to the global institutions and secured an admission at the University of Toronto in Canada. And just to also talk little about my internship at the bank, I would say so far that has been my biggest transformational experience so far, because it's already on my CV, by the way. Yeah, people love to know I once worked in a bank. And for me, I've grown personally from the values and experience. I would say I've really built my emotional intelligence first when I worked, because I remember I started off at customer service. It was really amazing, interacting with all kind of customers, and you have to handle them carefully, very fragile, so that you make sure they get the best of the service. And I remember at the end of that quarter, Kakuma branch recorded its highest CSAT score, 97.44%. So I said, wow, I'm growing. At least I saw that, and I was sure that I'm growing as a person. And also the salary we received, it really built me and my family, I would say. Aside from catering for my bills and buying a few things and helping my family in the camp, it also helped me to at least get exposure to financial literacy and management, and at least now I can say I can do my budgeting alone, something maybe I would not have gone. So the experience is so vast, and we really, personally, I'm really very grateful to Dr. James Mwangi. The dream is alive. You are transforming Africa through quality education and transformative leadership. And as I finalize, to my fellow global scholars, the sky, I would say, is not the limit. So let us go there, take all those spaces, big ones, of course, and become the people that we dream to be. Otherwise, be blessed. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jock. Jock speaks to us about the story of inclusion and has also lauded his mentors. For those following us, ECC is Equity College Counseling. ELP is Equity Leaders Program. EGF is Equity Group Foundation. So yeah, so many acronyms. Last but not least, Ian Mwai Toyota is proceeding to Harvard University to close it up for us. 5 minutes.
Good morning. My name is Ian. I'm an incoming freshman at Harvard College in the class of 27. I'm from Bungoma County. I was actually in the same scholarship program as Tatiana, but at least unlike her, I prepare for speeches. Yeah. As a little boy growing up in a small village in Bungoma, Western Kenya, I knew very little about the things outside the bounds of my village, let alone beyond the borders of our country. All my primary school life, I attended school 2 kilometers away from home, with children from the same village, with whom we spoke and were taught in vernacular, Bukusu. I was overjoyed when I was sitting my KCPE exams. I passed and was admitted to Kakamega School. My twin brother and I, being the first from my primary school to achieve this in over 20 years, I was finally going to a boarding school where I will only study, wash my clothes, and sleep. There will be no dishwashing, no caring for cattle, no working in the maize fields, and of course, my parents will give me money, if little, I will call my own. Barely 2 weeks after I was enrolled, I realized this was all but a figment of my imagination. High school was tougher than I'd imagined. Homesickness and all. I had to grow up intellectually, socially, and emotionally in my struggle to survive. But my most important takeaway from high school must be the experiences I gained from interacting with students from various regions. The diversity in that national school taught me to value other people's points of views and ways of thinking. It was also the first time I met someone my age from Central Kenya, Nyandarua actually. My mom is Kikuyu, and I've never interacted with someone from that region, like I was always in Bungoma. I finally got an airplane of 84 points in KCSE 2021, and the next step was to enroll to college. As one of the best students in the country, I was 7th nationally. I felt entitled to a government-sponsored study abroad program. I only knew the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Service, course then, and considering no one has ever applied to any college abroad for my school, and in my mind, like, you could never get a college abroad without the national government's intervention. So a few weeks after the exams were released, the frenzy died down, like the congratulations ceased. I was left in the dark. Days drifted by and slowly turned into weeks. I never got a letter or email inviting me to join Harvard or Princeton. I felt forgotten. That is where LP comes in. After successful 2 weeks induction at Sports View and a brief introduction to UCC, Bebev, she made it look tough, not gonna lie. I put together an application and was accepted to UCC. I felt like I was getting back on track. At the very least, I knew there was something called the Common App, which I'll spend countless sleepless nights filling out, and something else called the CSS profile, which I used to apply for financial aid. There are also 73 successful scholars who are going to join college in the fall of 2022 on full aid and will be my mentors. I was also happy and proud. I was earning, like, my father had been retrenched during COVID, and I was like the sole support for the family then. These people, the mentors, became my support system, getting me through the application process step by step. When I finally submitted applications for AIR, was deferred. I submitted my applications for RD and began opening a rejection letter to another in mid-March. They were there to hold my hand and say, you're not opened your last decision letter yet. I particularly recall Bev sending me very encouraging messages about a week before every day, as 31st. And on 31st at 2 a.m., I finally opened my last decision letter. I got my first and only acceptance, Harvard. So I was thrilled and grateful to God. As I progressed through college, I know limitless opportunities await me. In my class, I could be sitting next to someone who owns 3 startups. I could be sharing a suit in a dorm with someone who enjoys flying. I could be in the same club as a Chinese girl who will teach me more about the Chinese culture. In the fields, I could be playing with someone who plays in the Olympics. And all this because Equity College Counseling Program opened my eyes and showed me the way. I will never be grateful to the whole ECC team and Equity Bank as a whole enough. Also, special thanks to my mentors, John Yoshi, Melen Masea, Maki Koech, Tesimiruka, and Kevin Mungai in absentia, who directly contributed to my application and the success of it. Also, seated here today, I'm Melnik. We edited the applications together in RD, and I'm really grateful. Lastly, I have Tiffany and Oscar, who encouraged me to apply to and join ECC. I was reluctant at first. To all those present today, thanks for giving me a listening ear.
All right, thank you, Ian. So you've heard Beverly. So Beverly, if you could be upstanding, and we appreciate you and the team that you have led. That's Beverly. Come to the front, please, so we can see you. It's Beverly Kufuafa, who's been leading the college counseling program. And I'll ask the other education team members to also please be upstanding, and we appreciate you and for the support that you have given us. Thank you. Scholars, let's appreciate our mentors as well and study group leaders. Thank you very much. All right. So now it's my single honor to invite Dr. Joan Coril, our coordinator at the foundation, for her remarks, and then she'll invite Dr. Mwangi. Joan, karibu.
Yeah, thank you, Beth, and good morning, everyone. Good morning once more, and especially to our scholars. Good morning to all of you. Yeah, I think I'll start by first applauding all of you for the journey that you've walked so far to be able to reach this point where we are celebrating another milestone, one of the very many that there will be in your life, as you'll come to find out very soon, yeah? But standing here this morning, I think one of the things that I've noted, and having listened to all the scholars who've had the opportunity to speak and represent the others, there's a word that's kept coming up and very, very much aligns with Equity's purpose. I've had a lot to do with transformation. Yeah, each and every one of the speakers have spoken about the aspect of either having their lives transformed, anticipating transformation in future when they come back to sort of give back. So it's very fulfilling to all of us as the wider equity family. So we're very, very grateful for that. Beyond commending all of you, one other thing that I've picked up as well is all of you are already equipped in terms of what you'll need for the journey ahead that lies ahead of all of you. I know in the process of the college counseling program, you've had the opportunity to challenge one another, set goals for each other, set goals for yourself at a personal note. And picking up from what each and every one of them has been able to say, I had, for example, John Dolo talking about the aspect of transformation first for himself. He's already put something up for himself in terms of the health sector. I've heard him speak about, of course, having been a mentor is part of the college counseling program, where he's currently working at Roche and the transformation that's bringing to the healthcare sector. We're very happy from where we sit. I think with Equity Afia, for example, we already have 54 doctors who've already taken up the challenge and say, what can we do to transform the health sector? And there goes the word again, the aspect of transformation. We now have onboarded an additional 15 doctors, making 70 doctors who are going to ensure that Equity Afia and the wider equity brand as far as the health sector goes touches on every corner of the country. So by end of Q3 this year, we'll be in every corner of the country as the first healthcare provider, both in private and public practice, that's able to do that. Yeah? And you can see that these are challenges that your colleagues, your seniors have been able to embrace. So I think as you're, also rising up to the occasion, go there thinking, and what will be the next one for me? What's the mountain that I'm going to, come and climb? But you're only just at the foot of this one, yeah? I had Tatiana speak about embracing challenges and always keeping a mentality as there's a way behind each and every single challenge that you face, which becomes key for all of you, especially going into new territories. And I had some of your colleagues talking about having to face others who are coming in with an equal degree of excellence and how that will present a very huge challenge to all of you. It's about attitude. But biggest thing is that you now all have the right tools in your hands to be able to beat those challenges. Having come this far, it's a testament to the excellence that you've embraced in your lives, and I'm certain that you'll continue to maintain that attitude going forward. I also had Jock Magog speak about, you saw his eyes light up when he spoke about the excitement of his vision with the border. That was very interesting, yeah? It was very amusing. But I think the lesson that he was trying to speak to us about when he spoke about that small ambition that he had was about you're going to have to give up the things that you find exciting as you maintain your eyes on the ball for the bigger things. So that's the other thing that I urge all of you. Keep your eyes on the ball for the bigger challenges and drop off the little excitements that will come along the way, because they definitely will come. And especially for our global scholars going outside there, there'll be no shortage of exciting things. Keep your eyes on the ball and drop those short-term excitements, yeah? I also had Ian speak about, Ian as the final speaker spoke about keeping the hope alive. He indicated the challenges that he faced. He even talked about uncertainty when at some point things looked bleak. And I can assure you there'll be numerous other times when things will begin to look bleak. But again, keep your eyes on the ball, and the ball again is the goals that you've set for yourselves as you live. So keep the hope alive, the right company, and knowing that it is possible. And how do we know that it's possible? Because you've already done it, so you're already well equipped. But for us, within Equity Group Foundation, and I think the wider Equity Group, we are ready and we're waiting to work together hand in hand to address the challenges that we face. We talk about transforming lives, giving dignity and expanding opportunities for wealth creation, not just for ourselves, but for the communities that we come from. When we look at the vision in terms of where we want to go, you can see that in order to bring socioeconomic transformation and prosperity for the people of Africa, we're going to need all hands on the deck. So even as you go and onboard the additional skills that you'll be coming up with, know that there'll be an opportunity for you to be able to plug in and run with it in our journey to transform lives, give dignity, and expand opportunities for wealth creation. So take up the challenge, rise up to the occasion. We are confident that you can do it for sure. Thank you very much.
All right, So yeah, Dr. James Mwangi, kindly come and address your scholars.
Thank you very much, Dr. Beth. Colleagues, it's really a wonderful morning to be with you this very day to celebrate our own young scholars really going to seek opportunities and to encourage them. But looks like the scholars have learned more than their age. So I joined Dr. Joe and Lily in celebrating the sharing this morning as I listened to Robert Tatiana and heard Lily the resilience he has built to overcome rejection. It really demonstrates how far you have come. The first one, the opportunity to join the Wings to Fly, only on reflection to realize if his friend deserved that scholarship. So sometimes our judgment is misplaced, and it's always good to have that thought that you would be wrong and accept whatever comes your way, knowing another door will open up. So listening to all that really helps me to really see how impactful and this experience have been. I looked at Robert and thought he handled the original failure to get admitted by any of the universities much better, in the sense that he didn't give up, he just tried again, and here we are. We are celebrating him as he go to Caltech in the US, and I felt very, very proud of what you scholars, because I believe Robert is a representative of all of you. But what really impressed me most about Robert is his desire to continue learning. Robert, that poetry piece was very, very informative. And if we really keep on seeking lessons, one thing that we should never lose is a desire to keep on learning, a lifetime learning culture, knowing that we can be better and all the time and keep on improving. Doro, I celebrate you. Thank you for what you have really been able to demonstrate, constantly seeking. And I hope my son, Jock Magok, the job of the bank will not keep you away from seeking to learn programs, step away from cash in the bank and go and get a program, get your second master's. And Doro, you couldn't be finishing at a better time. Doro, where have you sat now? Very good. Try and come and sit here with Ajara and see whether by the end of this session you'll have got yourself a letter of appointment into our equity group insurance. Please do. You can move. You can move before so that you can continue, so that Ajara has a responsibility to deliver before we leave this session. Zeddy, thank you very much for constantly reminding us that your parents and your guardian circumstances are not your circumstances. Their situation is not your situation. And it's something that hopefully we will all keep on learning, that we can never own and brand ourselves with the challenges of others because we are associated. You are too young to be judged on what, as Zeddy said. She's a child. It's her parents who are financially challenged, not her. So she's a child like any other child. And the child's what they're expected to do is to compete for opportunities. And as soon as the opportunities avail yourself, you should remember not really to brand yourself with the situation and the circumstances of your parents, because they are not yours. Theirs is in the present, yours is in the future. Will judge you into the future, but will not judge you with the circumstances. So, Zeddy, as you move on to New York, you might be branded African, and there will be no mistaking. Your accent, your complexion will affirm it. But the circumstances of blacks in the US is not your circumstances. So don't accept to be demoralized by subtle racial discrimination. It's not intended to you. It's just a situation and a circumstance you find yourself in. Don't clothe yourself with it. Focus on your ambition, what took you. You are a student like any other student. So all these others, we never chose where to be born. So again, sometimes we get really derailed. Tatiana, dreams, big dreams. Thank you for keeping your dreams alive. And it is true, going to Preston University is one of the most prestigious university on earth. It's really a dream come true. And I'm glad you have realized very early that 95% is A minus. Maybe what you may not have realized, 95 you might be the last in class. Ideally, Beth would tell you at Yale, 98, you are likely to be the worst in the class. So don't let the number psychologically molest you. Do your very, very best. 98 is still an A. An A you have passed. And it's in the kind of college you have gone, it's not what number you wear. It doesn't work that way. There is no harm of you seeking to be placed on 1, and I will pray for you. I encourage you. But if you score 99 and you are not placed on 1, it's okay. Don't frustrate yourself. Don't demoralize yourself. Everybody in Preston has the same capacity and competence like you. So any of you could be the top in class. It's something we need to really talk around, because having been the best in Bungoma, best in Kenya, Pagani, and even SATS, 15 what? 20. You might go there and find, you're doing well. It's not about ranking. In where we are headed to, it's the best of the best in the world, not the Bungoma village, and not Kenya. It's not Africa. It's the entire world that assembled the very best of the best. So I want to encourage you to do your very best. And I hope your very best will place you at the top of your class. But whatever your best produces, be satisfied, and don't allow that to lead in any way affect you. So I've been very impressed by your ability to take opportunities and look at opportunities all the time. And every time you see, and this is a big lesson, that what the dreams allows us to do is to see opportunities. Your journey is a journey of identifying opportunities. Amazingly, I still remember you presenting. I remember I was with Ajara. Ajara, do you still remember? Yeah. Of course, Ajara couldn't miss. She comes from Bugoma village. So it was our greatest pride. And we talked about you with Ajara, but I'm glad that in such an event we could. And that's really the biggest lesson maybe for the day, that if you are alert, you always pick opportunities. She picked opportunities in a very unusual environment and circumstances, and here we are celebrating her going to maybe one of the most prestigious universities there is. Again, my son Jock Magok reinforcing the thinking that our circumstances and situation, it doesn't matter whether you are a refugee or what, it doesn't matter much what people think about you, because people have perceptions about refugees, but you shouldn't carry and inherit perceptions. It's what you think of yourself. It's the esteem, the pride of the self. Don't be defined by views of others. Define yourself by having your esteem, pride, as a human being, not in your status. Status change. Now, from the Kakuma refugee camp, Jock is now headed to Toronto. Just see. It's really important that we always take that perspective, and the two of you together with your colleague, if you have met Ian before, you should be able to be visiting each other. You are within the same state, I believe, in the Eastern Seacoast, and keep on encouraging each other. I encourage you. I can see you are seated together. They say Harvard might be the best school on earth, Preston, the most prestigious school on earth. And let's that competition. And I can see Tatiana is saying, I'm along with them. Also in Preston, at Toronto. Let's see the competition. That's a healthy competition. Don't go and compete with people in your class. Do your very best. But among us here, let's keep the race alive. And I'm very, very impressed by the way you have really, at a very tender age, understood the complexities of life. And today, Beth and your team, I feel very, very proud that the insights and lessons of life are coming out. It's not just about equity college counseling, which is very important. Leadership is very important. But I think we are achieving maturity at a very level because of being able to understand very complex issues and deriving insights as we look back our journey. So as you go out, I don't know whether Dr. Beth has told you, 2010 we could see her in a room like this, and then we have seen her take her journey to Yale University, Carleton University for her PhD, and back here. And we are really glad that she has made that bold step to come and give back in generating another generation of transformational leaders. The essence of this program is really to solve the underlying problem of Africa. Africa is a contradiction in many aspects. It has 1.3 billion of the youngest labor force. Africa has 40% of all the natural resources on earth. Africa has 20% of the entire land mass of the world. When we talk about transformation, industrialization, we say there are three things that are prerequisite: labor, land, and capital. And the capital is our natural resources in Africa. But the question is, why hasn't Africa transformed? But these factors of production needs to be organized. And the people that organizes these factors of productions are either leaders or entrepreneurs. They bring them together. And that is where Africa's challenge rests. Lack of transformative leadership. A leadership that can utilize the gifts of nature, organize them, take the risk, and transform the continent. So the Equity Leadership Program tries to tap on the most gifted in our African society, bring them together, and challenge them to grow to be the leadership that will be able to transform the African continent. That leadership, we believe, that needs to be exposed in societies that has transformed themselves. And that is how then we say we are building a critical mass of leaders. And I'm really excited that today, as we sit here, we have 73 of you coming from Kenya, 19 from Rwanda, 5 from DRC, and 1 in Uganda, as one cohort of promising leaders, young, gifted, enthusiastic, passionate dreamers who would make it right for this continent. Because this continent has everything else. But transformational leadership. Because if it had transformational leadership, it could have transformed long time ago. But unfortunately, this is the playfield of extractors, and they use our resources. And I hope we are not sending you to be extracted on, because it will be a very unfortunate state of this program, tapping the best talent in Africa and sending it to the West in the hope they will acquire knowledge and come back and transform. And that's why I have a very soft spot for Dr. Beth, for Harriet, because they have accepted, and many others, to come back and be the leaders. So you could imagine what Beth is doing. Today we are celebrating 98 of most gifted young people in East and Central Africa joining incredibly great institutions. When I look at it, we have 18 of you joining the Ivy League universities. It can't get better than that. That out of 98, 20% of you are going to Ivy League schools. It can't get better than that. And you are not going to be the pioneers. You are going to join 119 who are already in those institutions. So you can see the critical mass that we are building. And you give me hope that it's just a question of time before the continent starts really taking its rightful position in the face of national races, or because we would have developed the talent, the leadership, the entrepreneurship skills, the knowledge, the exposure, the network leaders will require to lead us. They always say a lion leading a pack of sheep can achieve the objectives. But it is different from a sheep leading lions. It's not the followers. It's the leader that determines the fate and the circumstances of the followers. It's not the followers. And so our circumstances can only, not because of us, but because of those who have led us. And consequently, 60 years after independence, it's the same story of poverty, the same story of calamity after calamity. We can't even overcome basic issues like adaptation to change. We can't be able to mitigate against adversity. Simple things we are not able to do, simply because we don't have ambition. So when I see energy of a scholar like Tatiana, saying I'm ambitious, I hope you'll be ambitious to lead us, because that's the ambition we need. You don't just get the knowledge and you don't come to lead. I look back. Equity was number 66 out of 66, the smallest financial institution in the country. And in just one lifetime, we have been able to transform Equity to be the largest bank in East and Central Africa. Now you can imagine if there are 10 equities in Kenya. Equity today is 11% of the GDP of Kenya. If you get 10 equities, then the GDP of the country doubles. And the well-being of the people would change significantly. So when I see 98 of you here, if you keep the dream alive and come and do what you need to do and have to do, if you have to have a legacy, then it's just a question of time before we see the continent. But it's when you look at the big picture and realize that this cohort of 98 adds to others who are ahead of you, and you now make 857. So we were desiring of 10 equities. What about if we got 857 equities? It's not Kenya that would transform. It's the African continent that would transform. The quality of the scholars is very, very well reflected by the courses that you have chosen to go and do. For those who have graduated out of the 857, we have been very, very impressed that majority of them are working in the leading global technology institutions. 47% of all those who have graduated are working in the big techs. I mean Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft. So I know for sure, and with certainty, it's just a question of time before they come and start African Amazons, African Googles, and African Microsofts. And that is the mission you have been sent on, to go study, understand, and use the that. The greatest wealth at the moment is concentrated in technology platforms. If you look, the top 10 most valuable companies on earth, maybe 80%, if not 90%, are technology platforms. And yet, 47% of all our scholars, of global scholars, are working, or those who are finished are working in them. When you look at 21%, they're in the consulting world. They're in Bain, they're in Boston, there is McKinsey, consulting groups. So they're the ones who are advising the rest of the world. So why can't they come and advise us on how, or they can be the advisors of our leaders? 15% of them in the finance world, the Wellingtons, the Fidelities, the BlackRocks. So we have all the components that we really need to transform this continent in this program. Mine will be to cheer you up and say, go, go, go. Africa needs you. But when you go to those much has been given, much will be expected. I want to recognize that team of Belfry that stood up. Maybe start again. And that team today, as we really celebrate you, have invested 2.5 billion Kenya shillings in the 98 scholarships. Now, they can see how capital can easily flow. We are celebrating an investment of 4 years of 2.5 billion Kenya shillings. And that is the impact that these scholars have. And you can see the investment that has been made to you. Please don't make that investment to be in vain. Let's put our hearts together for the team that has made us get that scholarship. But it's the spread of where your opportunities are that has amazed me. As you can see, we are seeing you join the league of the others in the same way that the past has been. We see that of the 857 scholars that we are, 569 are in the in North America, 71 are in Europe, 32 are in Asia, 27 are in Middle East. South America has 6, Australia have 1, and our own African continent has 151 to make out the 857. So that demonstrates once again the talent, the capability, and the belief. But when you look at the cohort of 98 that we are releasing today, 41 of the beneficiaries of this airlift are going to United States of America. And when you add the rest in Canada, we are talking of 45 of you are going to North America. When you look at Europe, 11 of you are going to Europe. Middle East is receiving 10 of you scholars. Asia is receiving 5. Australia is receiving 1. And Africa is receiving 26. Once again, testifying the quality of our scholars. And the challenge then comes in. We gave A scholars. What shall we get back? And that is the only area where I agree with you. We sent A scholars. We must get back what? A scholars. We must maintain who we are. We are egos. We must continue frying the hate and attitude of egos. You can't leave Africa as an ego and then go and settle for a weaver bird or worse of a chicken that never fries. You are a very high flying scholar. My only challenge is maintain your altitude of flight. Once an ego, always an ego. And that is when you see you falling out from being an ego, flying at 2,000 meters above the ground, then know something is wrong. You don't need to be told. When you see yourself crawling like a chicken, then know something is wrong. And each of us should then be our brothers and sisters' keeper. And we should really challenge each other. We came to acquire knowledge, to go home, to provide leadership to our continent. So again, that challenge must be alive so that we keep the momentum, we keep the inspiration, we keep the dream, and we hold ourselves to account. And so I want to encourage each of you to think that way, that you have a duty and a responsibility, that alone you not transform the African continent. You need to go and come back with your colleagues and together form the African leadership team that supports the transformation of the African continent. So as you go out there, do what you need to do and make things happen. As you can see, we are setting a cohort of East and Central Africa. It's the East African community. Again, it speaks of one Africa. It's not about countries. The state of Kenya is almost the same state of Rwanda or DRC. We need to see ourselves as a race and see ourselves as Africa as our homeland. And I am full of hope that the African continental free trade area will start to inspire us to think of ourselves as an African race with our home as the African continent, not the 54 countries. And so as you go out, really embrace the Africanism. I'm not saying you don't take pride as being a Kenyan, but you're first an African and then a Kenyan. And that is how we should see ourselves. African patriotism must come because 54 countries in Africa is like small-scale farmers. A small-scale farmer on his own has no relevance in influencing the marketplace. But the small-scale tea farmers organized under the KTDA program, Kenya Tea Development Authority, they produce 60% of the tea, sell in bulk, buy fertilizer in bulk, organize their logistics under one agency, buy trucks in bulk, enjoys the economies of scale, cross-learn from each other, and make the small-scale farmers the success they are today. So we must really think that way. But I don't think as a small-scale farmer, your output from your farm can influence the market prices. But KTDA together, they're able to influence the market, the global market price. Now, as I said, this program has now, the Equity Leadership Program, has a total of 22,000 scholars, ELP scholars. That's a huge number. And almost 1,000 of that, 5%, having made it to global universities. We are now seeing we are ready to prepare a ground for you. And that is why we've started seeing people like Beth, who is in charge of the education pillar in the foundation, dubbing as the strategic HR director to start positioning you in the organization and see whether equity is the platform. But we are also aware that we may not be able to provide all of you of 22,000 in an organization that has only employed 13,000. You are more than the entire population of our staff. So essentially what we have done is because we are developing you to be leaders, we have put a plan for future African leaders, and we have called it the African Transformation Plan but we prefer calling it the African Recovery and Resilience Plan. Recover from the deficiencies that have led us where we are and build resilience for generations. And that plan have a dream of seeing a transformed Africa. The biggest pillar is the issue of how we utilize our resources. And our resources are either in agriculture, where 65% of all the Arab blood in the world is in Africa. The second one is 40% of the world natural resources or mineral resources are in Africa. And we're asking ourselves, what about if we really got our leaders to focus on our heritage of natural resources? And as a result, see how those resources could be utilized. And we are seeing that focusing on productivity gains. So for those of you who would then be able to go in the value addition, productivity transformation of agricultural and mining resources, we have set funds enough for you to fund you to do what you have to do. And that transformation is very huge, because Africa will not transform without transforming the utilization of its mineral resources and transformation of its agriculture. And as we move on, we realize the best transformation is then value addition, what would lead to manufacturing and industrialization of Africa. So to you, those of you who seek industrialization, the money to fund you, to set up manufacturing, value addition, leading to industrialization of Africa, we have $24 billion waiting for you to make up your choice of what you want to do. We'll provide the debt, come with the skills, comes with the knowledge. We have the debt capital. This continent must transform before our eyes. But we can't bet it will be transformed by anybody else other than us taking challenge. So we'll fund you. But because we are sending you out, we are sending you out to become African ambassadors. We want you to be agents of change. And the best way to do the transformation easily is to form partnerships with the rest of the world. And that is why we are sending you to Harvard, to Preston, to go and form networks with the people who come from countries that have excess capital and has market for our produce. Trade and investment must be a very huge pillar. You must create networks of friends who have resources, and you can come back with those resources. You provide the rad, you provide the labor, they provide the capital, and together, we are not doing this by ourselves. We are going to do with anybody who is like-minded like us. So form networks of like-minded people, and we must trade with the rest of the world. Find markets. Find partners who can say, I can go home and produce, and I said to you to open the markets for us. That's the networks we are looking at about. An interconnected world. And Africa interconnected with the rest of the world. Trade and investment then becomes our third pillar. And of course, you don't want to come and do everything, small things. You are very experienced, you are very knowledgeable. We believe in an outsourcing model. And we're saying the best people to outsource to is the existing experienced small and medium enterprises. So we would like, in whatever industries you are transforming, populate it with the experienced small and medium enterprise. So we are investing a lot. By the time you come back, you'll see how transformed the micro, small, and medium enterprises will be. We'll transform them, we'll formalize them so that they become plug and play actors on your model and populate everything. It's like the outsourcing model where you see the manufacturing in US, parts are being done in Korea, Hong Kong, China. They just assemble them together. Think that way, that you don't have to do everything from scratch. You outsource, it's faster, it's cheaper to assemble a manufacturing plant that relies and depends on the technology that exists. That gives us the four pillars, small and medium enterprises. But we must do things in a way that is sensitive so that we don't industrialize at the expense of our environment. So we are saying we must do this African Recovery and Resilience Plan in a way sensitive to environment. So essentially, for those doing engineering, we need sustainable, renewable, clean energy. And we've had you to set up that energy. The good thing, we're leapfrogging on this energy. We have no legacy, so it sustained that, and we've had that, but also create sustainable environmental outreaches so that the environment becomes one, and we leapfrog on technologies so that we are not using coal, we are not using dirty wood fossils. We are using more of new technology. And the last one is where we seem to do pretty well, is research and collaborative initiatives with the private sector on the use of cutting-edge technology. And that's why I'm so excited that 47% of those who have gone to before you are in the technology space. And we're saying Africa will only succeed if we embrace innovation. And the biggest enabler of innovation at the moment is technologies. So essentially, be on the lookout because that is an essential ingredient in the transformation of the African continent. It will be important for you to think of the balance between economic and social investments. Education and health will continue to sustain the economic investment. So a mind of shared prosperity will help you very, very much. A mind of inclusive models. So as you go out there, think and embrace inclusive models that leave nobody behind, models that have twin engine, a social engine, an economic engine, that really propel the continent forward, and models that are low margin, high volume, so that affordability is addressed and nobody is left behind. Models that could lead and develop human capital management will be very, very essential. And labor-intensive models would be able to help everybody on the African continent to get a place. I once again congratulate you for earning yourself competitively the scholarship. It's not easy. It's not easy. If it was easy, all 22,000 of our scholars would have had a scholarship. But you can see we are talking of only 854. So I add my voice to your family, to your friends, and to the mentors in congratulating you. But remind you, you won it competitively. Remain a competitive scholar and differentiate yourself the way you have differentiated yourself, and be a global citizen. That fact that we need to keep the world very, very interlinked. Continue to seek knowledge. We are sending you to seek knowledge. Leapfrog in as much as you can. You have no baggage left behind, but remain rooted to the continent's ambitions. The airlift is not a different way of extraction. It's really an airlift to enable you to seek knowledge and to get to the best in terms of capability. They always say if you want to go very fast, go alone. If you want to go very, very far, go with others. The transformation of the African continent will be a multi-generational program. It is important we stick together. And I want to appeal to you that you stick and remain a true member of the Equity Leadership Network. We have formed chapters in every country that you go. Please go and enroll, like the way those joining the local universities, we have a chapter in every university to keep you together, to get the same one that you have got, to exchange ideas, but also to dream together, but more importantly, to encourage each other and to remain connected to your mentors, to the sponsor of the program, Equity Group, Foundation, and Equity Group. That way, then we know the strength of unity, or what they say, unity is strength, will really hold, and we can be able to continue. Be like Dolo, who keeps on going and coming back. He has a home to come to. Why? Because he has remained faithful. He has never disowned his sponsor. He comes and asks for sabbatical leave. We are very excited to see our scholars seeking knowledge. So we gladly give him, and he comes back and constantly, but you can see. Lastly, let me remind you that to those much has been given, grievance daughters, much will be expected of them. Your families expect a lot from you. We, the fellow scholars, expect a lot of you. Equity Group Foundation expect a lot of you, and particularly your mentors and coaches. I personally expect a lot, because to me, the best thing I've ever done is really to create a pathway for gifted people to get knowledge, to get exposure, and to get together. I feel I've done my part. But my part has not transformed the African continent. The African continent is to be transformed by yourself. I bequeath to you that as your legacy. But before it becomes your legacy, it becomes your responsibility. And once you discharge it and discharge it well, that it goes on. Me, mine was simple. Create a program that could create transformational leaders. Looking back, 22,000. I can say even if this dream became dim and gray, I would have no. Beth. Yeah, there is a lot of beauty. Looking at you, there is a lot of beauty. That, yeah, it happened. And this should encourage you. Who would ever have dreamt that a program like this, at a time like this, would have 854 scholars abroad? Who could have thought this program would have seen 22,000 leaders? I get baffled. Who would have ever thought a time like this, between Form 4 and Form 1, would have 40,000 wings to fly scholars? I challenge you just to dare to dream. And that's why we are very impressed with your thinking and the pride of being a dreamer, because this was just a dream. But don't just dream, do what it takes to make the dream become a reality. Realization is the most important thing. And it's a continuous effort. Even in my wildest dream, when we started with just 152 scholars, I could never see 60,000 scholars. But now 60,000 scholars is history. It has been achieved. So the issue is tenacity of keeping the dream alive, inspiration to keep you going, even when the answers sometimes are not as encouraging as Robert Tatiana would discover when he looks back. But you don't give up. Eventually the door opens. But the thing is, it only opens if you continue doing the right things. So let's learn to do the right things and see what we could. I want, in a few minutes, just to encourage you to continue thinking about the continent, to invite my colleague Harriet and tell you what she's doing in preparation of your leadership role in the African continent. Harriet was, I think, in this, we released you 2011? We released Harriet 2011. Come, Harriet. And Harriet ended up at Harvard University. And at Harvard University, she did what she had to do. We then saw her going for a master's degree in innovation in Southeast Asia, in one of the big tech platforms. And then we said, Harriet, we must design a program that really prepares a ground for these scholars. In a few minutes, Harriet, share the program that you have designed with the scholars so that they can see they have Equity Group Foundation to call home, an Equity Group to come back to join hands with us to execute.
Good morning, everyone. As everyone has said, congratulations on making such a great leap towards your future. And as you can hear, there's a lot of opportunities within the group, especially when it comes to transforming Africa across the pillars that Dr. James has shared with us. And this is where we come in, because the most important part is problem solving. And I love that majority of you have already learned that research is very critical towards solving problems. But beyond that, how innovative are we? How are we looking at ideas? Are we prototyping them the right way so that we are able to bring up solutions that actually are not only scalable but sustainable? So within that, we are putting together an innovation pillar within the foundation, which is really focused on enabling you as an entrepreneur or someone who is interested in problem solving to ideate. This is through hackathons. We have already lined up multiple hackathons that we previously finished, where we had scholars solving for problems in insurance, stroke health, but also problems when it comes to even us as scholars in terms of engaging with each other. But beyond that, when you have an idea, the next step is to prototype it. And to that, we are looking at incubating people with brilliant ideas that can actually solve for problems across our different customers within the bank, whether that's within the agricultural space, whether that's within the healthcare space, across all the pillars that we have highlighted within the Africa Recovery and Resilience Plan. And with that, we are able to now really nurture you, whether that's through providing of finances, through debt capital, but also grants and other potential avenues that enable you to actually go out there, test it out with customers, see whether it's viable to be a product that can be scaled towards not only customers in Kenya, but across East Africa, since you have seen Equity has already given us the blueprint and the infrastructure. And then once you're there, you already have a product, it has a product market fit, it has a price that is able to actually be used by different customers. You can now be able to scale it and grow it. And that's where the acceleration point comes in. And this is where we want you to leverage the infrastructure that the bank has to not only build a product in Rwanda, for instance, but also scale it in South Sudan, enable you to actually build what Dr. James is talking about, which is enabling us to actually reach to millions of customers, hundreds of millions of customers, and enable us to actually create more impact, enable us to create more jobs. We are looking at targeting towards 25 million direct jobs and 25 million indirect jobs. So there's a lot of opportunities for us to not just go learn of what brilliant things happen in the US or in the UK or wherever you're going, but also look and come back with solutions that can be able to mirror the problems that your county, your sub-county, but your country is facing. And that's what Equity has done over the last 30 plus years, which is looking at the customer, build a solution for them, and scale it across East Africa and soon across Africa, right? So there's a huge opportunity to learn and bring back ideas, bring back solutions to the continent, and actually create so much scalable impact, which is what the foundation has been able to create a proposal for you to not just go learn, but come back. And I'm a true product of that. I was able to go learn what China is doing with Alibaba, learn what America is doing with your big tech businesses, and ask myself, why not here in the continent? And that's why I came back, started my own business, was not as successful since I didn't have the foundation. But now that the Equity Group Foundation is here, there's a huge opportunity for you to get the right skills through entrepreneurship skills, but also get the right financing that can enable you to actually build a business. And I can't wait to see, as Dr. James has said, 10 or hundreds of equity banks that are listed in the Nairobi Stock Exchange, listed in the New York Stock Exchange, and it's very possible. We have seen Nigeria come up with businesses that are being sold to upwards of $300 million. We're seeing businesses like Flutterwave that are in the $1 billion valuation. That shows that young people, like the Flutterwave founder, and I think the Paystack founder, went to MIT. They came back, built a business, less than 8 years, they were able to sell it. So that tells you so much that it's not just about going to Harvard, Princeton, NYU, Abu Dhabi, but it's about what you pick up there. The people you meet there becomes your founder. The teammates that you have here are the people who help you be the first employees of your business. So come back. There's great room for you to bring up change. Unfortunately, in the US, you can't go and build solutions. They have already figured out a lot of their problems. A lot of my friends who are building businesses that are scaling plans that are fake, so that millennials can have something to nurture. But here we have problems around healthcare that already Equity Africa is solving for. But around other things, that agriculture, we have problems across environment. So it's a great impact and a great opportunity for you to go learn and come back. And thank you all for taking this step. And we can't wait to have you back. As you can hear, it's only 4 years, but we want you to go, take internships, study abroad, take 2 years once you graduate, work in the best companies, and we will be waiting for you. Again, thank you so much, Dr. James, and over to you.
Thank you very much, Harriet. So don't just work for 2 years, work for 5 years. We want you to come with the templates to acquire the culture, the practices, and globalize yourself so that you help to globalize the African continent. You must be able to carry the weight of the African continent by the time you come back. So there are 2 levels of innovation. The first level of innovation is at the social arm. And I want to ask the pillar directors if they could come forward in the foundation. The pillar, it's quick. Yeah, very good. You're already being welcome with a clap, please. Okay. You can come up, Beth, the podium is right here. Some can be on that side. So this team will help you, starting at the head. Penny, you want to join him on that? The others can come. You can come up there. Those 2 support the 6, 7 pillars. Harriet has chosen, because she has spoken, she's not a pillar head. So come in, sir. So we have Dr. and Penny doing the programming, setting how these programs should be, monitoring and evaluating. Akako is very good in monitoring and evaluating, and financial structuring by Penny. So those keep the programs together and keep them alive. Thank you very much to the 2 of you. Yeah, give them a round of applause. Then Tony takes entrepreneurship. This is where we need most of you to be. Africa's biggest challenge is poverty. The solution to poverty is wealth creation. Wealth is created by entrepreneurs. So we really like to encourage you. We'll do financial literacy. We'll support you to be an entrepreneur. We'll help you to write your case. But more importantly, we'll fund you. So don't go and get lost in America. At you go home. Come home, be bold, we'll help you get. Harriet, she talked about herself. She'll know what she'll be able to help. Then the critical one, we talked about the pillar of agriculture. Florence will help you with the agricultural innovation. This is social safety nets. How do we ensure nobody is left behind? How do we design solutions for safety nets? So Saraline will be able to help you. How do we solve problems in a refugee camp? So Saraline will be able to help. Then Eric comes in and we said clean energy, sustainable energy, environment, how do we mitigate and adapt to a climate changing environment? How do we reverse or slow climate change? Is it by tree planting or is it by practices? Is energy? So Eric will help you. And then health, the quality of people is not about financial wealth. It's the wealth of their health. The greatest wealth you could ever have is good health and a great brain. How do you invest in your health? That's Dr. Joan. And how do you invest in your brain? How do you invest in education? Dr. Beth. So you can see we are solving. And then, of course, the technology group. So far we have 2 licenses, the MVNO, so that we can really look at that area of technology, the PSP license, so we can also be very big in payments. Why did we start on those 2? Because they're infrastructural licenses. They will enable you. The APIs of payments will be out there, the MVNO, the telecom networks and infrastructure will be at your disposal. So as Harriet said, you don't need to invest, you can consume our APIs. And we can allow you our 18 million customers. And you can launch your products on them. So that. And then of course, we have the bigger licenses. You can build your technology solution on them. And the first one is insurance. Do you want to come forward, Ajara? Ajara is our managing director for insurance business. And I'll give her 2 minutes to inspire to tell you her journey. And you can see, we'll not wait for you until you get the gray hair. We'll give you leadership like we have given Harriet before she turns 30. And if before you turn 40, we'll give you an MD position like Ajara. Ajara.
Thank you, Dr. James. Sorry, I have a cold. Good morning, everyone. Good morning once again. I'm really delighted to be here. Of course, from Bungoma County, as James said, not village. But also, as a person who's passionate about growth. I mean, John, as you were talking about actuarial science, that's what I studied. And I think James asked me to speak to you because I originally wanted to be a medical doctor. And even after enrolling in university, I went to University of Nairobi, was persuaded to change my career course to actuarial science because like you, I am gifted in math. Some of the things that James talked about are true. When you are as brilliant as you are, it's easy to be arrogant. It's easy to take for granted the blessings that you've been given. Mine is to encourage you to stay humble but keep working hard. You've been investing in this. You've been preparing. Success comes when opportunity meets preparedness. You have been prepared, you've been mentored, you've been encouraged. This is that opportunity that comes once in a lifetime. I hope you take it. I hope you make the most out of it. And mine is to confirm to you that once you reach that achievement, the opportunity is really there. I'm happy to tell you that age is a dividend. Currently, in the insurance industry in East Africa, I am the youngest MD, privileged that equity will go the extra mile. It's not just about passing grades, But when there's an industry such as insurance that needs to be disrupted, currently penetration is less than 3%. So John, I hope you know that as you leave today, I'm already making a call that you shall join our business. We have a lot of work to do. We've got real problems to solve around health, around wealth, around life, protecting lives. And you not only have the skills and competencies to do it, but we've got a powerful brand that's Equity that is willing to invest in everything that you need. One of the things that has really humbled me about being part of the Equity family is that 9 months into our operations of our first business, we were able to be positioned 9 out of 25 in the Kenyan industry. And so a lot of what you're being told doesn't look real, but when you stand where I stand, being new in an industry like this, trying to roll out and disrupt, it does matter when you have a brand as big as Equity. It does matter when you have 18 million customers. It does matter when you have billions in the pocket to finance your dreams. So mine is to encourage you to work hard, be excellent in everything that you do. The first job that I had, by the way, was not to be an actuary. It was to be an intern filing papers. And if you meet my first boss, he said he never saw a file that was so neatly filed. So do everything that you're supposed to do with excellence. Leave nothing to chance. Mine is to encourage you that I'm watching all of you currently, the insurance group. We are now setting up the second subsidiary. We're now going to DRC. I am looking for talent. I am hoping that after your 4 to 6 years, you will come and join me, because I have this dream, like some of you do, a dream that's been shared or driven by Dr. James, that the insurance group will in 10 years be larger than the banking group. And in those 10 years, I'll not have as white hair as Dr. James. I'll still have some energy. But the benefit of working with leaders such as Dr. James is you get to be mentored by people who have disrupted markets and industries. You get to work with colleagues who have changed lives of millions. So the dividend that you get by staying within the Equity family is real. And I'm hoping that as you leave to get the international exposure that you really need, that you will remember that home is always best, and that you will remember that the insurance group, I guess I'm competing for talent with the technology group, but the insurance group is waiting for you, and that when you come back, it will be my honor to work with you to ensure that we can change the lives of Africans together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Angela. So you can see it can be done, and you don't have to wait to be, who give you a chance. The issue is have your value systems in the right place, have the capability, demonstrate competence, and remain an ego. Such that even when you come to the bank, it's not just the great performance in Harvard, Preston, Columbia, or whichever university you are going, but it's do what Angela did. In 25 insurance companies, you operate for just 9 months, and you are rated the 5th best insurance. That is what we are talking about, retaining your color, retaining your flavor, being who you have always been, and knowing that every steps you make, it shows. And that is your trait of who you are. Life is like walking on snow. Every step you make, you leave a trail, and it shows. What does your step show? Always ask yourself before you make any step, what will this imprint about my life? If we are going to the out there in the world, there's one person who I've known as really globe-trotted. I call her my friend, Joy Benedicto, formerly a vice president of CNN. Joy, you could come. You know, most of our scholars are going to America. 2 or 3 tips on America for a foreigner. I know they, for a whole week, they've been coached on how to manage the transition. Is there some wisdom for my sons and daughters? Joy, to give it all, she also managed as MD President Jimmy Carter's foundation. So she brings in quite a bit of Beba has been with us for the last 3 years. She's on the 4th year as a group director of communication.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, James. First of all, I just want to say congratulations to all of you, because listening to the stories of your lives, you have come so far, and now the world is really your oyster to grab hold of. But keep your eyes on the prize. Even as you go out in the world, don't be distracted by the shiny balls that the world has out there. I'd say if you're heading to the US or Canada or Australia, anywhere else, really keep your eyes on the prize. Be curious to everything. Don't say no to anything as long as it serves your goals of getting further in life. Try everything. See what you like, what you don't like. That's the only way that you're going to really understand who you are, is if you really try to experience all that life has to offer. Be courageous and fearless. Don't be afraid of anything. Really try to find out who you are. And lastly, really continue your studies and try to do well in school, because that is the key to everything else that you will want to do in life. If you get this far to today and then you fail out there, you still will not be able to go further in your life. So stay strong. You still have so much time for fun and life later, but keep your eyes on the prize now. And if you're going to the US, stay warm, bring a warm coat, and just have fun out there. Thanks.
Thank you. I'm glad she has reminded you. America is in the template, Europe is in the template. They hear of the equator. So be aware. Don't think you dress the way we dress here and survive the winter. You'll be going closer to the beginning. Yeah, I think it's summer at the moment for those going, but if you are going later, it will be quite challenging. But I think I want to take one lesson. Know who you are. You already know who you are. You are an African leader in making. That's who you are. Sent as an ambassador to learn and come back to provide leadership. Go learn, create networks, and come back. That prize that she say, keep your eyes on the prize, is not to be traded for leisure and for fun. Please keep away from drugs. They will not help you. Keep away from bad company. They will not help you. They will only steal and rob your prize. They will only rob and steal your prize. So I want to encourage you to think very boldly, as she has said, and courageously, and stick to who you are and stick to the lane that leads you to what you went to a global university to achieve, whether it's in Ghana, whether it's in Rwanda, whether it's in South Africa. You are a man or a woman on a mission. Never lose sight of your mission. Keep to it. It's your true north. And every day ask yourself, am I still marching towards the true north? Don't allow yourself to be derailed. There were more than 1 million of you who did the last Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education. We are only sending 98. And maybe in the entire region, less than 200. That's how privileged and how valuable this opportunity is. Don't lose it at whatever cost, at whatever price. and remain and be proud of who you are. In addition to ambition, be courageous, bold, and fearless. You have nothing to fear unless you are doing the wrong thing. Last but not least, let me introduce you to our first scholar who joined the Equity Leadership Program in 1998. And you can see what transformation this program can add. Samuel Kerobe joined us after 4 years in a university and went on to rise within the bank. We sent him to South Sudan as a second in command to start Equity in South Sudan, and we quickly noticed the talent he had, and we transferred him from South Sudan and told him, on your own, go and set Equity Rwanda. 4 years later, it had become a formidable subsidiary, and we felt we needed to nationalize the leadership, and we asked him to go and turn loud Uganda, which had challenged us for quite some time. 6 years later, Uganda, which he picked as number 18, left it as number 3, and joined the group as the Chief Operating Officer. So broadly focusing on the entire group, but with a very specific focus on the banking group, as Ajara helps us with the insurance group. Mr. Samuel Kerobe.
Thank you, James. Colleagues, the global scholars, and the media, good morning. Very exciting listening to the testimonies from the scholars. And I'll join my colleagues and the group CEO to congratulate all the scholars for what you've gone through to be here today. Is indeed a remarkable achievement, and we can listen and listen and listen. It's very inciting on what you've gone through. Congratulations, and as I said, it's a happy day. It reminds me of the dreams that you've talked about, and Dr. Mwangi said, I joined the program in 1998, and when I sat there, I could relate a day like this in 1998. That's almost 25 years ago. And while most of you spoke is about the power of the dreams and the power of the mind. And maybe just to confirm, and the group CEO said, he couldn't, in the wild imagination, think about this happening, not only in Kenya, but also allowed the countries that we are in, that today we have the global scholars from the region, not just in Kenya. And the numbers are mind-boggling when you talk about 40,000, 50,000, when you talk about the Ivy League university that you are joining, very exciting. But confirms to us that the big dream of Africa transforming will then certainly happen. It's a matter of time. And it's a question of what needs to be done for that to happen. And I'm happy that there is so much confidence in the global scholars who are here that we're going to see it happen. These are just the fundamentals and the layers that are being laid for this. I will share my story, but very briefly. When I joined, of course, the program wasn't that big. Very few of us that time. I joined the bank, got an opportunity to work in Kenya as an accountant, went to be an assistant branch manager in some of the branches in Kenya, went to became a regional manager in Rift Valley. I did most of the branches in the North Rift, South Rift, and Nyanza. So Bugoma, everybody want to be associated with you. I did Bugoma, the Kisumu, Kisii, all that side, Kitare. I used to be in Eldoret. But then quickly moved to South Sudan as the deputy or the operating officer for the subsidiary. And in 2011, went to Rwanda to become the MD, my first opportunity as a managing director for a subsidiary, which was as well not easy, but learning a lot. Then came to Uganda, and now I'm in my current role as the Group Chief Operating Officer. And trying to relate that with the dreams you have, I would have a few words in amazing, exciting, and I could relate to most of you when John Magog said about somebody brought the letter to you. Tatiana talked about the governor inviting you, the Equity Leadership, Equity Group Foundation, having a lot of hard in your life between the primary school up to today. And what was going in my mind is that you've had a huge support system to where you are. You spoke about our branch managers, who we really appreciate. They used to come to see you, visit you, mentor you. They're almost your godparents, and we really appreciate what they do. So the support system created by Equity Group Foundation, the education pillar, is amazing. And we want to thank the Group CEO for starting that noble idea and the contribution that have made, and all the colleagues who have made it work. But the level you are going to, I was trying just to note down, is a level that you are going to make most of your decisions now. The support system is going to be part of yourself crafting it in your mind. The branch manager will not be coming to you in the morning. Most of you act in the branches. When you have an issue, you go to the branch manager. And the question I'm asking in my mind, and I would be like to encourage you, is that that will now be happening in the new phase. You'll have everything most probably within yourself. So the phase you are joining is a phase that you are going to be more or less in control of the decisions that you make. It's a different phase of life. Focus is very key. What has been achieved so far confirms that if you can conceptualize it in the mind, it can happen. And I like the zeal. The challenge I want to put into you is that the next phase of life that you are getting into, it will keep changing, a little bit different. I noted Winston Churchill saying that mountains inspires leaders, but the valleys mature leaders. So the dreams you have speak about the mountain, the inspirational dreams. And we want to encourage you to have those dreams, the inspiration. But then come a level down to know that you are going to face so many valleys in life. Joy spoke even about weather. Some of you go ahead and got shocked by winter. So, making your own decisions. And the encouragement I want to give you is that the values you've attained in the leadership program, which are amazing, you've learned about values of resilience. It's not easy. Every day we present with its challenge. The values about integrity. When I heard about, is it Robert, who spoke about the branch manager and where the people you are working with, the values about humility. To learn that every day presents itself with a day of learning new things and new ways of doing things. Persistency. Most of the colleagues spoke about not dropping the eye on the ball. The focus, laser sharp focus. Knowing that as you go to school, you've gone for a specific need, and there will be so many distractions. How do you cope with that? You need to design a system. And as early as now, when you are leaving, get to know that will come on your life. Even those who are in the local universities. Because I say the support system you've been having, there will not be that branch manager to come. But you have the chapters that keep guiding you, that we're encouraging you to learn. I normally have a script that I say, if you are able to control your mind, if you take ownership of your mind, you become a very great leader in the making. Because much of what is socialized, we spoke about drugs. Are you going to be ruled by drugs? Are you going to be ruled by nice life and forget about your beginning? It all happens in your mind. Learn how to own the decisions that happen in your mind. Into the mind, if you add controlling your body, and we learn the body as very key, as the body of Christ, that will be very key for you. And finally, relating with God, always becoming thankful and knowing that these opportunities, there are many kids who would have loved to be here with you. They never got the opportunities. If you look at the odds that you had to pass to be here, most of you can't believe. You'd actually just thank God for this opportunity, remaining very, very faithful to God and thanking God always. And seeking advice from God becomes very, very key. So those three things, I would want you to keep remembering that, and I would want you to keep knowing that the face is changing. We look forward as you join the other colleagues who are in the global universities. And our group CEO has confirmed one very key thing. As you learn, as you gain all this knowledge, the bank or the group has grown in bounds and leaps to give you an infrastructure that you can come and be able to change the society's lives. By being in the various countries, the bank is, by having the various arms of businesses, insurance, MVNO, PSP, the latitude is not the latitude of 20 years ago, where it was just the bank in Kenya. But the playing field is so huge for you that it can be able to incorporate any big dream, and we make that change that is required in Africa. So I welcome you. Keep in touch with that. If change will happen in the banking sector, in the sectors of the economy we are addressing, we spoke about insurance, we spoke about agriculture. Harriet's team is doing a lot to tap all the resources in the sectors that we are praying in, and you need to be assured of that. So I wish you well, wish you success. We hopefully will be catching up on the chapters that you are in the universities, but don't drop the eye on the ball. Thank you very much. And James, keep praying for our leader, for these big dreams. You can imagine 25 years ago, these dreams were hatched. How will it be? So let's keep prayers on the group and the group management team. Thank you.
Sorry, all right. So we have a single obligation to give letters to the scholars, just in case you have forgotten what Dr. Mwangi tells you. He has a reminder here for you. And I think we have you in order. If you can get help to remove the podium. So we have, as you heard, we have scholars who have come from different countries in the region. Maybe you can stand in front. Let's have Priska from DRC. Please come forward and receive your letter. Let's appreciate her. She's going to Columbia College. Next, we have Andrew Kamau Kemani going to Africa Leadership University in Rwanda. Edith Nyanjiru. Edith Nyanjiru also going to ALU. Yeah, take your photo there. Next, we have John Obure. John Obure to ALU. Next, we have Michael Musa Musembi, Africa Leadership University in Rwanda. After him, we have Stephen Mwaura Nyangugi, also going to ALU Rwanda. Thank you. Let's appreciate also Winnie Irene Wanjiru, also going to the same institution in Rwanda. To Amherst College, we have David Kamau Chege. David Kamau, after him I'll be calling Benjamin, and after, you can be upstanding scholar, so you can come closer. So that's David Kamau going to Amherst. Benjamin Mutie going to Ashesi University in Ghana. He'll be joined by Mary as well, who's going to Ashesi University in Ghana. Mary. Matthew Kamande also going to Ashesi University in Ghana. Thank you. We have Jared Vincent Otieno going to Brandeis in the US. Lorraine will be going to Brown. So that's Lorraine going to Brown. After her, we have Valerie will be going to Budapest in Hungary. And we have Robert Otieno going to California Institute of Technology. Our first speaker today, Robert. And we have Joyce Mwikali Chalo going to Carleton College in the US. Next, we have Lulu Onyango going to my former university, Carleton University in Canada. Next, we have Nebat Inyanya going to Columbia University. After him, we are celebrating Caleb Kuria going to Comenius University in Slovakia. After him, we have Beryl Koko, who will be going to Cornell. Now Eliezer, after that, Eliezer, who's going to Davidson College. Eliezer Majembere going to Davidson. John. We have Silva Atieno Achila going to Delhi University in India. Silva Atieno. And when you come here, scholars, please take a moment to look at the camera. I have Natalia going to Erasmus in Rotterdam, Netherlands. Natalia Wamboi. Then Ian Moai, who spoke to us this morning, who's going to Harvard University. I have Ian will be joined also by Kana Diramu Godana, also going to Harvard. And we also have Nasira Aidan Wario, also going to Harvard University. So we've arranged them alphabetically, as you may have noticed. To Howard University, we have June Tinyari Mwenda, Howard University, June. I have John Ricky going to Kosaeli University in Turkey. After that, we'll have Gary Resula going to Leeds University in the UK. Well done, Gary. After that, we'll have Khalif Nur Mohammed going to Middlebury College in the US. And we also celebrate Jen Mutheu Mwendo going to New York University in Abu Dhabi. Jen Mwendo. She will be accompanied by Mark Bernard Ndongo, who is also going to New York University in Abu Dhabi. Nelly Mora will be part of the team that's also going to New York University, Abu Dhabi. And we also celebrate Ryan Jr. Opande, who will also be part of that team going to NYU, Abu Dhabi. Ryan? Yes. One more, of course, Zeddy. Zeddy going to NYU in Abu Dhabi. You have enough company to make you believe your dream has come true. Next, I have Brian Detto going to Northwestern in the US. Look at the camera. Thank you. And Brian will also be joined by Japeth Kipto Yegon, also going to Northwestern in the US. I have Valerie also giving them company at Northwestern in the US. Enoch Kipkongei going to Pomona College, it's California. And I have a companion going to Princeton University, Helena Muguarere, going to Princeton, Helena. And after Helena, we'll have Tatiana come and get her letter. Joy. All right, as she does that, we have James Mwangi. But it's James Nyoro Mwangi going to Samsun University in Turkey. So we have a namesake there. Then we have Isaac Okechwere going to Stanford University. Isaac going to Stanford. Then we have Jessica Anna Naponya going to Swami Group of Institutes in India. We have Tuch Ayi Magot going to University of British Columbia or UBC in Canada. He's one of the ones from the camp. Thank you very much. We have Meshak Bosire going to University of Debrecen in Hungary. And look at the camera. The letter. All right, Meshak going to Hungary, Debrecen. I also have Samuel Mwania as well, going to the same institution in Hungary. Samuel Mwania. And I have Simon Mwangi Kangeve as well, going to that same institution in Hungary. Mwania, you can look at the camera. And then Simon. I have Claire going to University of Pécs in Hungary as well. Claire Kiriko. She will be joined by Faith Njoki Maina as well to the same institution, University of Pécs in Hungary. After Faith Njoki, we have Matthew Thiga Mwangi going to the same institution, University of Pécs. Thank you. Next, we have a person I think who's probably going the farthest, Isaac Mungai, going to University of Technology, Sydney, Australia. Isaac Mungai. Then we have Jock who talked to us today morning, going to University of Toronto in Canada. He'll be accompanied by Mohammed Hire Dahir, University of Toronto, again in Canada. Mohammed identified us from Dadaab. Next we have Elias Mushui. Elias Mushui has joined the university. He's actually a student already at the USIU, Africa. Welcome. Eliud Ireri, as well from USIU, Africa. I have Morgan Kibet from USIU Africa as well. Then in Wesleyan University, I have Alan Cheriot. Alan Cheriot going to Wesleyan University in the US. He will be joined as well by Fidence Atieno, also going to Fidence, going to Wesleyan. After Fidence, I have Ian Kiprop. Ian Kiprop is going to Whitworth University. Ian Kiprop at Whitworth. After him, we'll have Ian Musembi Dominic going to Williams College.
Ian Musembi, followed by Mercy Langat. Breda. Going to Yale. Beth insists I must read Yale. That's where Beth went. Kibet. Going also to Yale. Very good. And last but not least, Victor Tende Mutinda, Yale University.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Last but not least, Victor, and we celebrate the ones who are not present, who have already proceeded to school, and they will also get their letters. Thank you very much. So to close us off, I'll invite Faith Ruto to give her closing remarks and to welcome the scholars. She's part of our governing council board for the Equity Global Scholars. For those of you who were here last year, you may remember her. She talked about her famous village. So Faith, in a few minutes. And then we'll have a closing prayer, after which we'll have a photo session downstairs. So Faith.
So this will go down. Yeah. They say we are short, but our words are tall and powerful. Our guest speaker, our distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Faith Jepkogei Ruto. I'm a student in Ashesi University. And for those who remember me last year, I can say I am the girl from Silanga. Though I said my story back, most of you don't relate. But I must say that today you look so sleek. Everyone looks so nice. Looks like you're going to do a business transaction, but yeah, you look so nice. Mine is only a few things. I won't reiterate on my story. I would only say my experience. And I would also like to welcome you on behalf of the ELP class of 2021, welcome you to the Equity Global Scholars. I'm the Africa representative for the Equity Global Scholars Board, and I officially welcome you here. It took hard work, it took commitment and dedication to be in here, and that's why I congratulate you, and you're going to do wonders out there. I was like you, I was seated there like you last year, and I was having a lot of excitement and anxiety because I wasn't sure what I was really going for. And there was a lot of questions in my mind. I was like, what does this place I'm going to look like? How is the ground there? Do they step on the same ground we step? Do they really breathe the same air we breathe? In quotes, you get what I mean. But in short, I was filled with so many excitement and anxiety. But this thing lasts, it's only like, it's there for a while, but once you are there, you'll feel the excitement going down because you'll interact with so many people from so many countries, and there's a diverse community in there. And one thing I would advise you is that never lose yourself there. And again, the school system, in as much as you are you have anxious, the school system there will help you adapt faster. And you will get new connections there, new friends, new relationships, and it's good to adapt there as fast as possible. And once again, I'll keep repeating this, you are the creme de la creme. But once you are there, you'll find other creme de la cremes. So be prepared, always have an open mind, because the faster you adapt and the faster you accept the fact that there are those people who are there just like you, the more you have that open mind to learn and interact with others. And lastly, when all has been said and done and you are finally there, fully adapted, you will find that nothing surprises you anymore. The buildings are no longer big and huge and fancy as they are. You'll feel them as normal. You'll work as, nothing is really motivating you anymore. But one thing I can say, just two advices. I've been reading this beautiful book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And it says, never lose focus. One thing, you'll find that there'll be a lot of distractions, and obviously you might try to fit in, that there's that peer pressure of trying to fit in. But let me tell you something. If something was meant for you, if a shoe was meant for you, it will fit automatically as a fit. You don't need to force. So never lose focus of what brought you there. Secondly, be careful. It's one thing to lose focus, and it's one thing to lose motivation. Never lose motivation. The only way to be excellent is to be endlessly fascinated by the same thing over and over again. Continue. Let it excite you. You see the way you are really ready to study and go and bounce on your studies and do greater things out there, because we have really done some things out there. But never lose that motivation, because everyone can work hard. Everyone is a hard worker. But what makes the difference is the ability to continue being interested in the things that are usually the same way and maybe might be boring with time. But always never lose that grip, and you'll be good, you'll be good. If I was able to be there and adapt, and I can stand here right now and say, you'll be good. And lastly, I would like to thank the whole Equity fraternity, led by our very own able CEO, Mr. James Mwangi, for the good work they've been doing and for the good work that we continue to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Faith. And now we'll ask for a blessing from Dr. Bishop Charles Kariuki before we go and take our photo downstairs. Bishop Kariuki.
Thank you, Dr. Beth. Shall I request that we stand as we receive these blessings? And as we stand, there are some wise words from the Bible. Proverbs chapter 3, verse number 3. It says, do not let kindness and truth leave you. Bind them around your neck. Yes, bind them around your neck. And write them on the tablets of your heart. As you go out, the wise words you've received here, coupled with the grace of God and the wisdom from the Word of God, wherever you are going, will make you what you have always desired to be. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you and bless you for this wonderful time that you have given us together as we celebrate the success and milestone by these scholars and also by Equity Group Foundation of sending these scholars global. We want to bless you because this has been possible by your gracious hand upon Equity Group Foundation and the kindness that Equity Group Foundation has dispensed to have these scholars get this chance to go global. We want to pray as they set to their various universities abroad, that Lord, your hand will be upon them. First and foremost, that you'll allow them to acknowledge your presence, for you are the creator of heaven and earth, and you are omnipresent. You are everywhere in the universe. Let them know they are not alone in those strange countries, but you will be with them. Secondly, Lord, how we pray that you may help them to constantly maintain themselves by knowing that the location may change, but they remain the same. The quality that you have put in them will not be changed by the location. So how I pray today as we release them to go, that you will keep their eyes on the focus as they have been advised here. And over and above that, Lord, I pray, protect them from the temporary and deceiving side of us that may come from different cultures that they are going to meet. Let them not be attracted by the brightness of the temporary offers. And so may you give them knowledge and wisdom and courage to remain focused. And how I pray for each one of them, that no matter how bright the temporary and the deceiving offers may be, they shall never be dazzled by that brightness. They not be blinded, but they will continue pursuing what has taken them to those universities. How I also pray that, Lord, they shall not be overtaken by the change of culture, but that, Lord, they shall remain themselves. They shall be proud of who they are and where they are coming from, and understand that they are representing Africa. I pray that nothing will change their strength, their passion, and their enthusiasm. That they shall not turn their efforts to cause them to relax and therefore become indolent scholars who have no place in this world, but they shall be passionate and hardworking to become the best. You have already helped them to be the best. They shall continue being the best. We pray that you bless them. As we set them, Lord, we set them with blessings. And these blessings are not only from us, but blessings of Africa. We pray that as they go west, they go east, and wherever they are going, the Lord, the spirit of excellence shall be upon each one of them. And with these blessings from Africa, we pray that they shall be 10 times better than anyone else. We pray that you will give them faith and you'll allow them to trust you every day, for you are able. We thank you for this wonderful program, and how we pray that you also bless Equity Group Foundation, the leadership, that this program that was birthed by your grace upon this organization shall continue and grow. We pray that this goodwill and this good gesture shall not cease, but it can only expand and even reach to many more. We thank you and we bless you as we come to the end of this, thanking you that next time we shall meet, we shall be able to give you all the glory for the testimonies of success that will be registered by these scholars. We thank you and we bless you, for this is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you.